And then back they get down to the rim. Oh, great block. James out of nowhere, skies to the rim. Oh, Boyd took the advantage and played off from inside the center square. Boyd kicked the goal. Boyd kicked the goal from inside the center. Here's Aloisi for a place in the World Cup. He's hands right back up. Big head kick. Down goes Thompson. It's over.
Live it, breathe it, love it. All sports, double coverage.
What's going on, ladies and gentlemen? Welcome to Double Coverage. We hope you're still living, loving, and breathing sport. I'm Dom, and I'm with my boy, Saucey. What's happening, mate?
What's going on, Doma? It's the playoffs have arrived. A big round of first games. A couple of upsets to be expected. Man, we've got the AFL. The dailyless games on a daily basis has finished, but still rolling along. UFC, F1.
Big card. F1. Mate,
And
it's all happening. Bit more
Don't
card
forget
talk in the hobby
Champions
talk.
League.
Champions League.
in the football.
We got a lot. And then obviously the most anticipated segment of the week, Sauceys Smokey, to end the show. So that's what we love. But we'll get straight into it, man. Wow. The last 2 days have been intense. Absolutely intense. Playoffs have started, and I tell you what, it has not disappointed at all. We'll just run through the games, give a bit of review, give a bit of feedback. If you haven't seen, we did release a special podcast going through the first round. We gave our predictions, and we also put our brackets up on our socials, so you can check them out there and follow along with us. But we'll start with Utah versus Denver. Wow. Good start for the playoffs. OT, and Spider Mitchell dropped 57, and your boy, I'm going to call him your boy because you've been saying it since week one. Don't sleep on Jamal Murray.
Don't sleep on Jamal Murray.
Everyone was up on Michael Porter Jr. and you were just like, yeah, he's good. We accept that he's good, but Jamal Murray's the man in that team.
Jamal Murray's the man, and he proved it. Man, down the stretch, they're going to be looking to get the ball, run action for Jamal Murray, and he's going to make the plays.
He made some big shots.
He made some massive shots, and it was pivotal in them getting the W. That's for sure.
It was just that back and forth, and not for anything. Donovan Mitchell came out of nowhere with that performance. He literally put the team on his back, and literally.
Yeah, and it's interesting because there's a few people out there that get on Donovan Mitchell, just drill him, sort of him being overhyped. Do I see it a little bit? Yeah, but you got to have a look. For anyone to put up 57, 19 of 33, that's not bad. He's 57% from the field. 6 of 15 from 3, that's 40% from 3, that's good. 13 of 13 from the free throw line, can't get much better than that. The guy really did put the team on his back, but that just shows where Utah are at as a team. They've got Donovan Mitchell, but what else have they got?
Well, they do have another one of our guys, Bojan Bogdanovic, but obviously he's not there, but you got to make do with what you have. So it was a good effort to get there. Like we said, we still believe that Denver, they did win the first game, so Denver won it, but they got too much talent and too much depth on that team, and they'll get through that series. But I'm looking forward to it probably going to 6, maybe even going to 7 potentially.
Well, let me tell you, Tommy, if Jamal Murray kept shooting the way he did in that first game, 13 of 20 from the field, 6 of 9 from 3, 66% from 3, just a lazy 66%. I mean, that's 3 times what Lakers shot today, their whole total team percentage.
Well, we'll get into that. Don't worry, we'll get into that.
right?
But
They're gonna be there to take the series. I mean,
100%, they're going to win it.
I said this is close. You know, I actually think it's going to go 4-2. I think Utah can, you know, steal a game or two. But overall, Denver have the better side. Jokic, once again, showed what an absolute maestro he is. You know, 29 points. Probably not as many as assists as what you're used to with Jokic. But, yeah, overall, their team's just more solid, man.
Yeah,
Even coming off the bench, man. Even coming off the bench, Jeremy Grant, 19 points off the bench.
He's
Monte Morris,
He's actually pretty good.
Bench. Like, that's solid bench contribution. You know, Utah, like, they got a little bit off the bench. But I just think the starting five for Denver is better than Utah. And that's where I sit with it. My boy, Michael Porter Jr., semi-boy, like to call him. As I'd said, maybe my prediction was wrong that he's not going to get over 20 minutes in the playoffs. He got 31 minutes, but what was evident was he only got 40 minutes in the fourth quarter and overtime.
Yeah, he played, literally 4 minutes. That's all he played. So there's belief in him, but I understand what the thinking is behind the coaching stuff.
Yeah, and don't forget, a lot of the action that Utah ran, they put Michael Porter Jr. in pick and rolls at the top, allowed Donovan Mitchell to absolutely tear the bloke to shreds.
That's it. You're just going to abuse the rookie, and that's why, without experience, he doesn't know. It's not his fault. He's never played in the situation before, but it is a good experience to play against a guy like Mitchell who has got a couple playoffs under his belt now and
knows what it's all about.
Just learn the ropes, really. We then had Toronto, Brooklyn. Honestly, Toronto just... They look good. They look good. There's a lot of talks out there. Yeah, well, they're not going to get that far because they haven't got Kawhi.
Drake putting up 30 points. Fred VanVleet.
Fred VanVleet he's taking his game to another level, mate. We just thought of him as a role player, and now he's literally...
I know, 8 of 10 from 3. 80%. That's Steph Curry-like, man. Is this guy Steph Curry or is it Fred VanVleet? I'm not sure.
Man, they're going to be good. They shut down Karis LeVert a bit, but like we said, Brooklyn may steal a game, but like they can't win the series, clearly. From that game, there's not much to touch on. We'll see what happens there if they take a game. I really want to transition from that game into that series into the next series, because the winner of that series, Sauce, is going to play Toronto. And we did discuss this during the week, but I don't think either of those two teams, Boston and Philly, that I'm talking about, they can't beat Toronto. They cannot beat Toronto. Let's talk about that Boston-Philly game before we actually touch on that. Frustrating for Philly fans. I know you were losing your marbles. You're not even a Philly fan. You're sending me messages and voice recordings, losing your mind over this.
I couldn't believe it, Doma. Like, the guy dominated in the first quarter.
You put it on
11 points. After the first quarter, the guy had 10 more shots for the rest of the game.
I don't get it.
Excuse me? Like, he's your best player. Feed the guy the ball. Like, and what killed me down the stretch there where they had opportunities to potentially take the game, there was possessions there. They went down the court. Joel Embiid didn't even touch the ball. He's your best player. Like, you know, he wants to show that he's the best player. Like, who do you put that on? Like, is that on Brett Brown for play calling, or is that on the team owners for not getting the ball?
I don't know if, but is it they're not used to not having Simmons there as the facilitator? Embiid has to take on that role now, kind of like Jokic. But the difference between Embiid and Jokic is Embiid, because he's so dominant, will get double teamed straight away. And by doing that, all their players should just be lining up on the perimeter, and they should just be swinging the ball and getting open threes every single time. I don't get... We sit there and we watch Embiid just pound the ball, pound the
sometimes he
ball.
does pound it too much. Like,
And then he just turns around and you're
thinking,
thinking, oh, he's pounding him. All right, he's gonna do a post move here, go to the ring, get fouled, and hopefully get the M1, the bucket. Pounds the ball, settles for that
Turnover.
stupid jumper that we freaking turned about, or a
or they come
turnover.
double team him and he gets the turnover.
Oh,
He had
it's-
5 turnovers, right, in the game. So that it just proved my point. Sometimes Joel Embiid is too focused on getting into his move and not being aware around, especially when the double team's
Yeah.
coming.
yeah.
In the first quarter, he dominated. He was able to, get whatever he wanted. He had 12 free throw attempts on the game. The guy should have had 25 free throw attempts on the game. They got no one to guard him. Enes Kanter and Daniel Tice are the guys guarding him.
I don't
Excuse
get
me.
it. He scored
They
11
got no
on
chance
Tice.
against him. Like,
He scored
they should be
11
just
on Tice.
abusing it.
He scored 11 on Tice in the first quarter. That just shows how much, literally, he just he gave
It just
Tice a
frustrated
bar.
me, Doma, man, because like it's so obvious what they need to be doing. They need to get Joel fiery and force the double teams to Joel. When they start forcing the double teams, they'll be getting wide open looks from 3.
The other thing in that game was the turnovers as a team that they had didn't reflect on the scoreboard offensively for Boston.
Yeah.
So
So this is
if they
all
reduce the
alarming.
turnovers, they can beat Boston. And we
18
discussed it.
turnovers, Doma. 18 to
I
7.
we don't actually think, ladies and gents, that Boston are any good. I'm sorry. By the way, Gordon Hayward's got injured. He's not going to play the next game, might not play the next couple of games. But the same thing happened again. We spoke about Kemba in the special pod, and we said we need to see more from him. He showed something for about 5 minutes. I sent you this a message during the game saying, oh, yeah, Kemba, he looks good. Literally, I went away, did some stuff. You messaged me and went, oh, mate, not from what I'm watching. He's 4 of 13 off the floor.
So on the night he went 7 of 16. It's not what you want from your point guard who came from Charlotte and was the number 1 man and showed that he could score 30 on a nightly basis and on efficient shooting.
Yeah. Their bench as well, like they got no depth in that bench.
Their bench contributed with an amazing.
Was it 8 points?
8
points,
points.
I think.
No, they a bit more than that. 15 points off the bench. 15 points off the bench. I mean, Philly weren't that much better, but that's really going to hurt because now one of those bench guys is going to have to step up, playing the starting 5, Hayward out. And I think Philly's going to make adjustments, man, and they're going to realize that what they need to do is they need to get Joel the ball because by him getting him the ball and allowing him to make his moves inside, he was living at the free throw line, so he's putting their only 2 big guys in foul trouble. Potentially, if you foul one of those big guys out, then you're only versing you might be either versing Canner or the other one, and then if you foul them both out, well, then they've got really no one that can guard you. I mean, they've got no one that can guard him regardless. So I just didn't understand it. The way, if anyone goes and watch that, they went down the stretch and they just made the wrong decisions, man. And it's just the Philly that we know. They've done it in the past. They make the wrong decisions down the stretch.
They do.
I don't know.
It's just, it is frustrating. Like you said, they will make adjustments. I genuinely think this series now, I picked Boston in 6, and I think you picked Boston in 6 as well.
Yeah.
This could go 7, and I reckon this is a pick'em now. It's literally a flip of a coin. It could go either way, really, with Hayward out now. I know it's early days, and everyone goes, oh, yeah, but it's the first game. But I look at it like Philly had all these turnovers, and they only lost by how much?
Yeah, 18 turnovers. And I'll tell you what they need to do. They need to be getting Matisse Thybulle and put him on Tatum. When he was on Tatum, he destroyed him. Tatum was only 2 of 8 from the field. I think he blocked him twice after, fighting over the screen and recovering and being able to get the block from behind. Matisse Thybulle, the Aussie, he's got so much length. He moves his feet well. I think that's a trump card, essentially, hold Tatum to what you can because, he's picked up his game. He's definitely much better.
Yeah, he's going to score.
He's going to score. There's not much, there's not much you can do about that. But
if you can stop him from scoring 35,
you could stop him from doing that. That's right.
That's what you
right.
want.
Yeah.
And that's
ladies and
obviously,
gentlemen, that's where I sit with it, with you on that point.
but that's touching back onto that Toronto series now, just quickly. Toronto's depth and their team dynamic is better than both of these teams.
Yeah, agreed.
And the game after this game that we're going to touch on, which is today's games,
they got length that can guard Tatum and guard those other guys.
Yeah,
as well.
from what we've seen, they can also beat Milwaukee. But we'll get into that in a couple games. We'll get onto the Dallas versus Clippers game now. Man, was that a stinker from Dallas from the beginning. Doncic had 4 points and 6 turnovers in like the first 8 minutes of the game. But he stepped it up. He came back. But they were down by 16. The Clippers went 18-2 to start the game.
Yeah, they stunk it up coming out. But, credit to the young fellow, Luka.
Oh, yeah.
Carlisle subbed him out, sat him on the
Great
bench.
coach.
Obviously had some time to reflect on what he was doing, what he wasn't doing. Came back into the game and really, really impacted it and got the Mavs back into it. And then it became a game that we thought it would be. After
that they
you
probably should have won.
A game that they should have won, could have won. If it wasn't for...
What did we say?
What did we say? We said the vets, the wily old vets from the Clippers will get under their young skin. We called it, ladies and gentlemen.
We said that they were going to try and get people teched and ejected, and lo and behold, the second best shooter in their team, who was actually playing really well, Porzingis, got ejected. So, and I watched Porzingis' post-match interview as well, and he actually said that it wasn't the time or place for me to get involved. He goes, I was sticking up for Luka. I just got involved because I shouldn't have pushed him because I was already on a tech. He goes, actually said they're veterans and they're smarter, and I got sucked in. He actually understands what he did wrong, which is good. He can take accountability for that. But
too bad you already lost game one.
Correct, because if you start with a one-game lead, it puts the Clippers into a panic because, like we said, their chemistry, which is evident.
I watched that game from start to finish. Yeah, they lacked, and you could see that they haven't played together for a while. Harold, I think Montrez will get more minutes as
he
gets a bit more.
It was good
fitness.
to see him back on the court as well, which is good.
I love Montrez Harold. I love him.
He's a beast.
He's just. He's not a flashy player, but he's just the epitome of hard work. Not the most talented or gifted, height or athletic wise, but the guy just competes. And ladies and gentlemen, he's nearly averaging 20 and 10 this year. 20 and 10 for a guy that they run absolutely zero plays for.
And that's off the bench.
That's off the bench too.
He's not even a starter. But couple things in that game. Luka had 42. He became most scored in a postseason debut, and he's the fourth youngest player to score in the 40 or more. So,
he also nearly equaled the most turnovers in a playoff game by any player, which I think was number 12. He was one short, so he nearly got that record too.
Yeah. Not for anything, though. For him to go 6 turnovers in the first quarter and then only have 5 for the rest of the game, it was a good adjustment.
No, it's good. He's a talented guy. And, this is a very bright future in Dallas, like we've mentioned before.
They're looking good.
Still,
looking very good.
This series is intriguing, Doma.
It is. You got like we said, one of the top 5 best defensive team and the best offensive team.
Yeah, it makes for a good match.
Yeah,
it makes for a good match. But like we said, they've got the claw on the team. He definitely picked it up there in the second half. And Paul George played like a true number 2. Can't say anything bad about the way he played. They'll keep throwing the different looks at Luka. I mean, you watch the game, you just see some of the passes that he pulls off, flying through the air and wraps his arm around the guy that's trying to contest and, flicks it out from the 3-point line. And, like I said, some of their guys are having career years from 3. It showed in that game because I believe they shot pretty good from 3-point land. They shot 35%, so it's not too bad.
No, it's not too bad.
Yeah,
but
It's going to be
We'll
a
move
good
on.
series.
Yeah.
I
It
think
is. It's going to be
I
good.
think it can
Gonna be
go to
good.
6 games, but the thing is, it's going to be you know, how they deal with these veterans that can get under your skin. You know, hopefully they've learned this lesson on this first one, because I don't want to see any more injections. You know, I want to see this going
No, I
down
don't
to
want
the
to see
wire.
that.
I want to see some overtimes.
The one thing that I have noticed is they haven't let as much as I thought go at the moment in the playoffs. There's
Yeah.
been some real soft fouls, but I understand it's officiating. I'm not going to get into that stuff. It's whatever. But yeah, maybe I'm just a bit pent up because of the Oklahoma-Houston game. But who cares? But the next game, it's a bit. I'll be honest with you. I'll be the first one. I'm the first one to admit when I'm wrong, mate, and you know that. And I can't defend it because I did write down that it was going to be a sweep, and we didn't even get into the analysis of the series in the special pod in Orlando and Milwaukee. But all I'm taking out of that game is what you pointed out to me and what we've said before. There's nothing to say. Like, Milwaukee will readjust, yeah, and Vucevic dominated. They had some big numbers from some guys, but the one thing that's been pointed out, and we can't stress this enough, and we're not picking on the bloke. You can't pick on someone if you're just stating the facts, all right? But Chris Middleton, you got to stand up, son.
Yeah.
Giannis can't do everything. You got to step up. 14 points is not good enough as a number 2. 14 points is dreadful. I'm sorry. That's terrible. Like, I don't know.
Yeah, 33% from the field. 14 points, 4 of 12. Man,
No,
that's supposed to be
good.
your number 2 guy.
It's not good at all.
You know, your number 2 guys got to be giving you 25 plus a night.
Look at those combos. You look at Paul George and Kawhi. Paul George had 27. Like, you look at Luka and Porzingis. Porzingis got ejected, but he's averaging 30 in the bubble. You know what I mean? So in Luka's numbers, you look at AD and LeBron. They're both averaging over 20. You look at Houston with Westbrook and Harden. They're all bloody scoring. They're averaging 20. He's probably averaging 20 for the season. I don't know what he's averaging, but he shits the bed in playoffs. We went through his stats in the first
We went through his stats, yes.
He shits the bed in the playoffs.
He's
as simple as that.
Yeah, he's averaging 20.9 on the season, mate, but it's yeah.
He's got to step up. He really
he's
has
got to step up, man.
He'll bounce back. I reckon he will bounce back in the next game, but bouncing back in the next game and evening the series, to me, personally, it doesn't show me anything. You've got to bounce back and you've got to consistently put in the numbers to assist Giannis. Because at this current point in time, you can beat Orlando. I'll tell you what, if Miami wins against Indiana, they're going to push you really, really hard.
Yeah.
Like, Miami's going to
That'll be a tough series
if you beat Miami, you're not beating Toronto. If you put up that garbage, if Middleton comes out and can't average 20 to 25 points a game, you can't beat Toronto. I'm sorry. Like, what? I know Brook Lopez had 5 points, but Brook Lopez is in the number 2. Like,
31, 17, and 7 for Giannis.
you played well.
3 of 7 from 3. I mean, that's good. That's 42%. That's good for Giannis. Would have kept him honest on the 3-point ball. On the flip side, Nikola Vucevic going out there like he's Larry Bird.
I know, he's bloody put on a clinic.
35 points. 5 of 8 from 3.
No, he was great.
He was put on an absolute show. And massive off the bench, Terrence Ross with 18 points.
Yeah, he was also quality. I think the next 3 games that we're going to get into, I think were probably the 3 games that we're both looking forward to the most. My boys, Miami against Indiana, Buckets versus MJ, which I'll tell you what, we're going to change this right here and right now. Throughout this series is TJ, because he ain't playing like no MJ in this series, because Buckets is going to give him a bath, and he has given him a bath. The last 2 times he's played on him, he's destroyed him. As simple as that. So from this moment forward, he's TJ Warren. Until we get into the season next year, when they get kicked out, I'll call him MJ again. But he's TJ. He's got nothing on Jimmy. And like we said about buckets, we need him to put in more production. And what do you know? He put in the production. He dominated. The bench put up
28
30
points.
He played well.
He only shot 2 threes for the whole game, and they're both in the last quarter, both down the stretch. So coming up big when his team needed it.
They're just too good. And Oladipo's day-to-day with an eye now injury. No Oladipo, no Sabonis. They got no chance. And like we said, Miami, they just got shooters everywhere. Tyler Hero had 15 off the bench again.
I mean, Duncan Robinson had an off night. He had some wide open shots. They could have buried him by more.
But that's the thing. Like, he had an off night, but you look at the bench, and then Tyler Hero is another shooter, and he puts up 15 points. So it's like, that's the problem with Miami. One shooter might not be playing well, but you might have another guy that's pretty hot. And then he's making buckets. So you're like, oh, I'll give him more minutes. That's the flexibility with Spoelstra's system. And we said that's why they're a threat. Unless all the shooters are off.
I mean, and they've got shooters all around. You know, you go through the list. Buckets can drain a 3. Crowder can drain a 3. Robinson, obviously, Dragon can drain a 3. Tyler Hero. I mean, Iguodala, you've seen him. Oh, he's not the best 3-point shooter, but hey,
hit him,
like he's proven at Golden State, he's more than capable of hitting big, timely threes. And then you go down, Kelly Olynyk, he can shoot the 3. So they've got the ability to stretch the defense. And what that allows like the likes of buckets to be able to drive the ball. Bam Adebayo, who has shown that he's got that sort of nimble feet, similar to Giannis in the paint when he drives it in there. Maybe can't finish as good at the moment, but hey, he's young. You know, like
exactly.
That will build up, and he'll get better at finishing. And you know, he's shown that his ball handling skills is elite for a player of that height. His ball dribbling skills. So they'll build on it. They'll build on it.
They've got enough.
Like you said, Dom, without Oladipo now, potentially for the next game, at least you've got to think day to day with an eye injury. But you know, if you can't see properly out of that eye, if your eye got raked. I mean, if it was bad enough for him,
he might play. I hope he plays. But I'll tell you one thing. TJ better get that M back in his name next game if they've got any chance.
For sure. There was a few moments there where he tried to pull out. He tried to go from T to M, and he went straight back to T because he put up a couple of bricks, especially in the fourth quarter.
He was MJ, and then he turned around. As soon as he turned around, he saw buckets there, and he's like, "Oh well, get rid of the M because I'm shooting up a brick now." The next game. If we can skip over it, I'm more than happy to skip over it. I know you're deliberately trying to.
He's got the Rockets hat on. He's got the Rockets hat on, mate.
We're not going to
call it, mate. The Rockets.
I think we might. Yeah, we'll skip this game. We'll go.
Doma, I think you're actually underestimating the brilliance of the man.
Oh,
the brilliance of the man that is James Harden.
Oh, I never said he wasn't brilliant.
Right, but you're underestimating him, Doma. I get it. I do get it.
Defensively, maybe, but not offensively. I know he's a beast offensively.
He's just unbelievable.
I still don't reckon. I just don't reckon they're good.
I'm with you on the point that
I can't believe
they
guys
could potentially
like House and McLemore and these. It's a geriatrics asylum, mate, out there, and they're bloody hitting threes. I can't believe this. It's
Robert Covington's playing center. They've got him down here as starting center.
Oh, they're going to probably win this series.
Yeah, I think they'll win it. OKC will make some adjustments, but they need to, OKC, for them to have any chance in this series, they need to attack the paint and get some of those guys in foul trouble. You know, PJ Tucker, Robert Covington, they should be getting in serial foul trouble every game because they're too small to challenge at the ring.
The problem was
OKC needs to be driving the ball more and forcing fouls.
Their starting 5 lineup, that they put out on the court is the one that really gave Houston trouble. it's like when they go to their bench unit, they weren't up for it. But when they had that starting five with SGA, CP3, Steven Adams, Gallinari, and I think Mamadou Diallo, I think is the other guy.
No, they do Ferguson.
He got beat. He got destroyed by Harden today. He tried to guard him, but I'll tell you one thing that they did do right. Yeah, like when you know how Harden gets that crappy foul when he shoots a three for people going underneath his feet and he kicks his leg out. So what Oklahoma did is when he goes to that step back, they just go straight up, but they move straight to the side and put the hand up to try and wave off the shot, and they give it to him. If he hits it, he hits it because they rather him hit it and not get the 4-point play.
We've seen what he does on that one, Dom. He's sneaky. He gets that step back, and then off his toes, he jumps, and when he shoots, he jumps forward. So then momentum jumps him forward into the contesting player. So, they did guard that one well. He probably could have got a call early on in the game where they did actually get him and didn't get the call. But after that, they did that one real well. They manned it up. I mean, if he's going to hit that step back, he's going to hit it. There's not much you can do. You know, if you've allowed him to get that space, step back, you've already, stuffed up your job by defending him in that way to get that separation. Yeah. And once he gets that separation, you've just got to contest it best you can without fouling, because you don't want to give him 3 free throws because you know how good he is from the strike. He'll just put them in. It's just easy money for him.
In saying that, though, I did pick Oklahoma in 6, so I'm not worried. Well, I am a little bit, but not really.
He's holding on to it. His bracket could be done already.
Oh, fuck.
Don't stress, Dom. I think Thunder will make some adjustments.
They'll win the next one. CP3's not losing to the Bears.
Yeah, I think this definitely goes to 6 games. I can't see them sweeping.
Well, they can't sweep now because they lost the game, or else they probably would have swept Houston.
I'm talking about Houston, you flog.
I just can't believe it. Let's just move on. I don't want to talk about it anymore. We'll see what happens in 2 days.
James Harden brought his elite defense.
He did.
He was actually good defensively. He was.
Yeah, it's good.
Maybe
good
it's the dreadlocks, mate. The dreadlocks makes him play better.
Oh, I saw the hairdo. I was like, what's he doing? It would have been great if he did the dreadlocks in his beard.
That's what I was about to say. He should dread up the beard.
I would have loved that. But, what are you going to do? Let's just move on to the most
notable mention, though, before we move on. Their bench play was elite.
What?
We said that. 14 off the bench, Macklemore, 22 off the bench, Jeff Green. And then you have a couple of other contributors, but that's quality. You look at, and as you said, Doma, this is where it could be lost for them. When they moved to the bench, they got destroyed.
Yeah, but that's right. Like their starting 5 could decimate them every game, Oklahoma, because Steven Adams was a beast. But it is what it is. Like it's a depth of your team at the end of the day. All that tells me is those bench guys now, if they don't want to lose to a team like Houston, they got to step up now. Yeah. They really got to step up.
SGA needs to step up.
Yeah,
and he had a very average game.
The onus is on them now, those young kids, to step up. Because, Adams, Gallinari, and CP3 are going to put it in day in and day out. You know what I mean? It's those other guys now, they got to step up. And they got to look on the other side of the court, and they got to go look at Macklemore, look at House, look at Jeff Green, who's a role player. You know what I mean? He's pretty much on his way out in his career, and he's reinvented himself. They got to look at those guys and be like, well, if we can have half the production that those guys are having with our starting 5, we probably win. We can beat them, or at least be competitive enough.
Yeah, but I'll be more competitive than getting
because you got to remember
done by nearly 20 points.
Westbrook's not back yet, so
that might be advantageous to them if Westbrook comes back into the team.
But no, the only advantage to having Westbrook back in your team, honestly, I was thinking about it today, is he's literally the only guy on their team that can't shoot threes. That's the most advantageous thing. You get a guy that thinks he can shoot threes and just puts up 25 West bricks and costs them the game. That's literally by just shooting dumb threes that aren't there. But I can't see that happening now in this team with Westbrook, with Harden there. It won't be allowed. So, I don't know. We'll see what happens. I think Westbrook knows his advantages. He plays downhill, which is to his advantage with no big guys there to clog the lane for him with the small ball. So he'll get his points. But it's all dependent now on how they can stop and readjust. And for my sake and for my bracket's sake, I hope that.
Yeah, he's shooting 25% on the year from three. Westbrook.
He's a spud. He's a spud from three. He can play. We know he can play. I'm definitely not going to knock his game, but his 3-point shooting is dreadful. All right, we'll move on to the last game of the first 2 days of the playoffs, and I'm going to just put it all onto you now, mate, because you're the Lakers man, and you lost your first game to Portland, and I know that you weren't happy with it. With a fair few things that you saw on the court. I could just picture you throwing your hat into your couch and just, what are you doing? Like,
Doma, let me just start off by saying one thing. 16%. 16%.
What's that? Your 3-point shooting.
How do you expect to win a game of NBA basketball shooting 16% from the three? How? Of course you're going to lose. You deserve to lose. They deserve to lose that game, shooting 16% from three. And as bad as they shot from three, they still had chances to win the game in the end. And don't get me started on that, because they made some errors down the stretch there that could potentially have won them the game. Danny Green, I mean, how many shots did he hit last year for Toronto? Excuse me, is this the same Danny Green? Or
no, he's gone recent, mate.
Have we left him back in Toronto? Because this guy absolutely looks like a spud from downtown. He's supposed to be one of the best catch-and-shoot guys in the league.
The best one was when he got the ball wide open on the corner three.
Where he shoots 47% from, ladies and gentlemen. That's a stat.
He shot it over the basket. He missed the basket completely.
He missed everything. Airball. From his hot spot. That just shows you where Danny Green is at right now, at the moment. He's got no confidence.
The confidence is the thing. We can laugh and, I know we're only poking fun at him, but we know he's an elite shooter, but it's a slump. He's in this slump, and it couldn't have come at the worst possible time for the Lakers. Really. The worst possible time. But those other guys need to step up. KCP needs to probably step up and hit some shots.
I mean, Tom, we looked after the ball. We only had 10 turnovers.
Yeah.
That's good, you know?
My question to you is, where's Dion Waiters?
I don't know. Why are we not giving him a chance? Just
He's
play
probably
him
the
off
one.
the bench.
Maybe, even if it's not J.R. Smith. I know if you don't want to play J.R. Smith, I understand it. That's fine, whatever. But Dion Waiters has shown a lot. Like, he can get his basket under the ring. Like, he can create shots and he can hit a three. Why aren't you playing him? That's the thing.
Showed when LeBron went off the court. We lacked guys that could create. Obviously, we lacked scoring. Anthony Davis, outside of free throws, just sucked.
Yeah.
Outside of free throws today, the guy sucked. He was so bad. His 3-point shooting, I don't know what's happened to it. It's not like he's a bad 3-point shooter. I think he's just like 33%, 30%.
This is the thing.
Which is okay. And with his athleticism, he just has to make, say he shoots 4, he just has to make 2. At 5, he just has to make 2. 1 or 2. Say he shoots 3, he just needs to make 1. And that's just to keep the defense honest. So that when they come out to him and close out when he's on the 3-point line, he can drive by them much easier. And
what a mess.
Collapse the lane.
What a mess.
By him not make, I think he went 0 or 5 from 3. I don't correct me wrong. All I know is that he didn't make it 3. And he had wide open shots.
I got it up.
By doing that, you are just...
He did go 0 or 5.
The defense is going to
0%.
challenge you to shoot the 3. They're just going to be like, you can't even make a 3. Let's just
he
close
shot
out.
0.
Let's just close out so you can't drive by us, which is his strength.
He shot 0% from three and 33% field goals.
If he
Field
didn't
goal
get free
percentage.
throws,
So
man, I don't know.
he got 17 free throw attempts and hit 12. For example, he got half of those, he would have had less than 20 points.
Like I said, you
said
know
it.
what you're going to get from LeBron. You
We
know what you're
said
going to
it.
get.
And I'm going to say it again. The best player you have ever seen in your life is LeBron James. Unless you watch Jordan, you grew up in his era, LeBron James is the best player you have seen in your life. Year 17, ladies and gents, and he's the first player in NBA playoffs history to go 20, 15, and 15 in a game. He had 23, 17, and 16.
If we made 3-point shots, the guy would have had 25 assists.
Oh,
Not a word of
every
a
single
lie.
guy was open.
The shots he was getting to our 3-point shooters were wide open shots.
It's actually, honestly, it's a shame, really is a shame that you didn't win that game because people are going to remember that game, obviously, and we're not going to take anything away from Portland, yeah? They're going to remember
Portland played well.
for those
Portland played
two
very well.
massive clutch threes that Dame Dollar hit right at the end of the game, practically from the NBA logo at center court, and really just kept them back in the game. But if it wasn't for that, if Lakers win that game, honestly, like that's a storied win in LeBron's career. Just go back and just watch LeBron. He was 9 of 20, shot 45% from the floor, and he was 1 of 5 from 3. But that's not the thing that you got to look at. Just go watch his passing. It was literally Showtime. Like he looked like Magic Johnson passing the ball out there. He was just doing some of the most ridiculous stuff today. It was a joke.
And there was a few passes where he put too much pepper on the pass, and the guy couldn't handle it. He was right under the basket. There was one with Markieff Morris. He went like behind the back. Markieff Morris couldn't even handle the ball. It had that much spice on it. And he was right under the basket. Like he's unbelievable. But
like we said, we don't need to
credit. Enough talking about the Lakers. I could go on. There's moments down the stretch there, as bad as they played. There was things that they done well. We had 22 assists. We only turned over the ball 10 times. I believe we won the rebounding count. We done well on the boards. We got stops. I mean, we only kept them to 100 points. That's good.
The perimeter defense was really good.
Perimeter defense was good. We probably need to make a bit of adjustment. What they did there in the last quarter in trapping Lillard and forcing the ball out of his hands once he got over half court. It's what you got to do. Man, Lillard's that good of a player. You just can't allow him to beat you. You got to force the other guys. And when we actually started forcing the other guys to make shots down the stretch there, they missed shots and we got back within the game. And we were only 4 points down, I believe, and we had possession. We went down, they passed it around. Caruso bounced the ball, nearly lost it, then draws 2 players, 6 seconds left on the shot clock. Instead of passing the ball, he shoots up a contested 3, airballs it pretty much, just scrapes the rim. I mean, then you come back, we get another stop, and we come down the other end. LeBron's got a wide open 3, misses it. I mean, we had chances, even how bad we shot from 3, shooting 16%. We had chances to win that. But enough about Lakers. Let's talk on the Blazers side, what they did. They came out with an intensity, straight out the block, and got an early lead and proved, I predicted, that this is not going to be an easy series. I'm predicting this to go to 6 to 7 games. I think in my bracket I had us winning 4-3. Portland are a good side. They've got guys who can line it up. Melo, regardless how old he is, people think he's washed. The guy could still, if we overplay, Lillard and McCollum or those players, he can go for 30.
He went 11 and 10 today, which is all right. It's not bad. 11 and 10. I mean, Nurkic had 16 and 15 boards. But then what you really want is McCollum and Lillard to do the scoring. Melo, 11 to 20 points, yeah. If he's scoring in there 11 to 20, maybe 15 to 20 points a game, that's an added bonus if McCollum's scoring 21. And then Lillard, if he's going to average 30 plus, well, you're getting good, you're getting good points. They haven't even got Zach Collins. He's injured. They have to play bloody Wenyan Gabriel, who
Rookie.
last time he played, he got 5 fouls in literally 13 minutes of play.
Yeah, he got
The
fouled
guy-
out. 6 fouls. They ain't
Yeah,
gone.
in 15
That's
minutes.
another thing, Domo. Like, we got some of their guys into foul trouble. And a few of their guys were sitting on 5 fouls
Mate,
in the
they
last
had
quarter.
Mallow, Nurkic, and Whiteside all on 5. Davis has to bully them. Come on. He's weak. I'm sorry. He's weak as piss. He really is. He's a super talented player. He's a gun, but he's got no dogfight in him, man.
Yeah.
Nothing at all.
Other
He
than
gets
free throws,
around.
the guy had nothing today, man. Like, he was,
Get angry.
he was poor. He was
Do
poor.
something.
There was things
Man,
that need to be done better.
But
On
I
the
don't
flip
know.
side,
All
Lillard, man, the
credit
guy's
to
a beast.
Portland, mate.
He's shown
All
what he can
credit
do.
to Portland.
13 from 3, taking some absolute bombs. Man, he's on a
Lillard's a
mission.
gun.
He's on a mission. The way the Lakers defended him, I actually think was pretty decent.
Yeah, no, it was the
we
right way
held
to
him
do
to
it.
34. Yeah, that's his stat line. Like, the guy's going to score 30 points. I don't care what you say. Like, he's going to have a ridiculously off night. But Lillard is one of those players. He's like Steph Curry. Very similar. He could be shooting terrible, but all of a sudden he goes on a stretch for 5 to 7 minutes and he can't miss. And he will just put up 20, 30 points in 5 to 7 minutes. He's capable of that. So you need to be careful. That's why you need to, as soon as he comes out halfway, guard him, pick him up high, force him to give off the ball. And when we did that, we were able to get stops and get our way back into the game. It's going to be a good series, Doma.
It's going to be a good series. We're looking forward to it, and we look forward to Thursday, I think, when they match up against each other next. So that'll be good. It's been an awesome couple of days, and we can't wait till, honestly, we get back on next week and we talk about the other games that have gone past. So, yeah. Well, coming up next, we've got the sport news around the globe. So stay tuned for that. All men have 2 versions of themselves. The one that you are now, and the inspired version of yourself that is hiding deep down inside. My mission for the podcast is help men break through their limitations and become their most inspired version. The Inspired Man, a podcast from Andrew Soteropoulos. All right, Saucey. We got some sports news.
We're back.
AFL, mate. Good round 12. Our tips are pretty shit house. So if you haven't seen those, check them out on socials. We'll do our tips again at the end of our AFL rundown. We'll just go through the games really briefly and quickly. We had Sydney versus GWS. Sydney surprised us, mate, in that game. I don't know what was going on with GWS. Couldn't even beat the kids.
Yeah, Tom. GWS, where are they at as a club? He's a club that they made the grand final last year, prelim final the year before that. Their list, you would think, is one of the best lists in the AFL on that, and their team is now moving into that age bracket that's a lot of the players are getting into their prime part of their career, where you think they should be stringing good games together, and
Correct.
They've had time to gel together. They've played together a lot of these players over the last 3-4 years together, especially in some big games, and they've been right up near the top. And they get done by Sydney. What are they sitting second last on the ladder or third last?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah,
look that one up for me, Dom. But they get done by Sydney, who showed that they've got an up-and-coming list. Some really nice young players. They outplayed GWS. Like, I watched this game, and their intensity for the ball was much better. They looked like they just wanted it more. And the thing is, you would think, here's a team near the bottom of the ladder. Their skills, they want to take on the game and potentially, win the game might be not as, they might not want it as much as GWS, who's, who've proven that they can play some top class footy. But it looked the other way around. It looked like, GWS was the bottom three side, and Sydney was the
with the kids.
the side that's supposed to be pushing for finals and premierships. It was unbelievable to watch. The performance by GWS was absolutely insipid. I don't know what to say. I really don't know what to say. It's not like they didn't have inside 50s, Doma. They got the ball in there 52 times to Sydney's 33 times, but they only managed to score 25 points and have 10 scoring shots. On the flip side, Sydney had 16 scoring shots and they only went in there 33 times. So they've scored on 50% of their entries. You can't say the same about GWS. That's pathetic. That is absolutely pathetic.
That's pretty bad.
I don't know. And, anyone who wants to chime in with some sort of opinion on GWS, shoot us a DM on Instagram or Twitter. Let us know your thoughts. I'm happy to read these out. But I'm just writing GWS off as a club. In general, I genuinely can't see this group of players winning a premiership ever.
They're in danger at the moment. This could be a big call. Like, people might take it as a big call, but they're in danger of the Gold Coast Suns eclipsing them in a couple seasons to have a better list. Because those players will be out of their prime, like you said, and be aging towards the end of their career.
Aging back into the 30s.
30s. But you got to remember.
What would that say?
Yeah, but you got to remember, on top of that too, there's always clubs trying to take guys from GWS.
And they've cashed up a few of their players, so their salary caps, it's
exactly.
high.
So, I don't know. I reckon Gold Coast may have that, I don't know, that edge. I don't know, like, Matty Rail's not playing at the moment, but he's shown so much. He's going to be a gun. Like, King's looking good. Isaac Rankine needs to obviously polish himself up a bit more. Those players look good, and I reckon they could eclipse GWS in the next few seasons. It's not an overnight thing, obviously, but you can't come out a couple of weeks ago and put on a clinic and then look mediocre and then look absolutely woeful. As bad as when you started out as a club. Like, that's the score that they put up. That's how bad it was. Obviously, they're much better players now than when they started, but that was not what you want to see as a GWS fan. Let's just put it that way.
We'll just leave it on this note, Doma. They got outdone on the disposals, and disposals per goal for GWS, 86, meaning they had to have 86 touches before they kicked a goal. You can actually kick a goal by kicking it, one kick out of the centre, get a mark, and one kick. That's two kicks, potentially giving a goal. Tell him 86.
It's ridiculous.
And you're supposed to have one of the best lists going in the AFL. Get out of here, man. Get out.
No good at all. Next game was Geelong and Port. Port really got shown up. Tomahawk show rolled into town. He put on an absolute clinic. He hit 6, and
the big forwards are back.
Yeah, they are back. I
was messaging. I was like, "Wow, Tom Hawkins looking like a locket out there."
Oh no,
he's clunking him.
60 points they beat Port Adelaide by. They beat Port by 60 points.
That is massive. And it could have been more.
Oh, it could have got real ugly really quickly. And the week before, they beat Richmond. So, I don't know. They did play away, I'm pretty sure. It wasn't in South Australia.
Is it the same old Port that they struggle away and at home they have Fortress?
Yeah.
I'm not sure. I'm like we spoke about it last week about Port potentially being in the contention for a premiership. I'm not there to say that they can't, but maybe this is the game that they needed, a wake-up game where it showed them that they've got a lot to improve on, And it's not like they had a close game and then they lost, by a couple of goals, 2-3 goals, or, less than 10 points. They got smashed. 10 goals.
No,
it could have easily been 15 goals. They had 21 scoring shots. So they're 14-7 on they ended on, which is, good kicking. But they could have kicked a couple more goals. It's
Talking about wake-up calls, though, like, the next game is... I hope they take it as a bloody wake-up call. Brisbane, North Melbourne. Brisbane looked terrible. They went back to their 7 goals, 11 behinds, inaccurate again. They kicked their first 6 scores were 6 behinds. They could have potentially been up 36 zip against my boys. And if it wasn't, honestly, it shows 1 point here because we kicked the goal on the siren. But Cam Zerha for North Melbourne had a kick 20 metres out on an angle with 50 seconds left on the clock, and he kicked it behind. That kick in went back into the centre circle. Everyone mucked around with it. North won it after a few stoppages. Got kicked into our 50, and the free kick was given away right on the siren with 10 seconds left. What happens if I know it's projecting. What happens if Zerha kicks that, goes back into the centre, and they give away that free kick at the end, and they lose? North Melbourne played kids. They just played their kids out there to give them a run, yeah? And Brisbane, they looked lethargic. They looked like they didn't want to be there. Lockie Neal had no impact on the game at all, alongside Zorko. The kids literally ran their hearts out, mate. They played with courage, and I'll give it to North. Like, you play your kids, and what did I say to you last week, Sauce? I thought we were going to lose by 20 goals. I was like, oh, we're playing Brisbane. I know their kicking's not good, but their inside 50 entry and their conversion is pretty high for a score, whether it's accurate or it's not accurate. And based on the way that North's been playing, I'm like, oh no, this is going to be very bad for us. We lost by a point. Like,
it was good effort on North's part, you know.
Oh no, I'm very happy.
I'm happy for all the North supporters out there because, you know, after a couple of hard weeks,
I'm so happy.
You've copped so many injuries. It's been a
We
tough
copped
year
another
for you guys.
one. Bloody Will Walker.
Just show some promise, and you know,
Yeah.
we lose by 1 point. It's exciting, you know. Especially at least they've showed some effort this week after getting smashed by 60 the week before. But this is where it's at, Domo. Like you said, you played kids. But you beat Brisbane in the clearances by 6.
I know we beat them.
What does that say for Brisbane? You know, they had their best midfield in.
Neil and Zorko.
The guys you are missing in the midfield.
Non-existent.
The guys that you are missing in the midfield, there's no way you should win that.
Oh, no.
Stat.
If we had Cunnington and Zeeble, you effectively say we probably beat them by 3 or 4 goals.
Yeah.
Because that probably goes from 6 to 12. Or
you
to
win more
15.
clearances, balls more in your forward half, more chance to score. Domo, we sound like broken records a little bit because we go on about Brisbane's inaccuracy.
But this is...
But come finals time, that inaccuracy is going to get them kicked out of finals.
In the first round. They'll be gone.
That's reality. Because you can't afford to be missing these chances in the finals. It's a tougher game. The intensity goes up. You've got to take your chances when they're there. If you don't, you'll be on an early holiday, that's for sure.
No, I agree with you. And one of the teams that North comes up against this week is featuring in the next game, which was Melbourne and Collingwood, which obviously I think North can actually probably beat Collingwood because Collingwood look terrible. They look good.
You scoffed at me, Domo, when I tipped Melbourne last week.
Yeah, I did.
You scoffed at me. You said,
I did.
Melbourne?
Yeah, I did scoff at you.
And I said, Collingwood aren't that good this year. They've got
I don't know.
They're struggling with their slow starts. And once again, we'll go down here to the stats. 21-7 after the first quarter and 43 and 25 at half time. Once again, Collingwood, slow start. It's shooting themselves in the foot. You know, you're starting from behind essentially by just allowing teams to do what they want the first 15 minutes of games. And it's the first 10 to 15 minutes of game. And it's a recurring thing. And like Buckley spoke about it, it's not, they know about it, but it keeps happening.
And the thing is as well, like they had no Gorn either. And like Grundy probably was thinking to himself, oh, beauty, I'm not playing against Max Gorn. He still got tailed up. Like Bruce did a good job.
We know about the ruck position. It's probably the most overrated position in AFL these days. It's not as important as it once was. I mean, you got teams like Richmond winning the premiership with Sean Grigg as their second ruckman. So it just shows you where the ruck stocks are at these days. Grundy should have had field day. you know, but he couldn't.
But guys, like, honestly, they're back. Melbourne, credit to him, like Stephen May, guys like that. Christian Petrarch has taken it to a whole nother level this year.
Yeah,
Like,
best year of his career, that's for sure.
and Clayton Oliver has stepped it up. He struggled at the start of the year, and he's really putting it together as well. So
Clayton
it's good that
Handball Oliver,
Viney
I call
come
him.
back in as well. So Melbourne are looking pretty good. So we'll see what happens with them. The next game was probably the most controversial game of the round. Fremantle versus Carlton.
Da, 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 da,
The kick
da,
after
da,
the
da,
siren
da,
game.
da,
Whichever,
da,
yeah,
da, 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 da.
it was good.
Oh, let me tell you, I'm an Essendon supporter. I fucking hate Carlton. I hate him with a passion, right? But it was exciting to see that kick after the siren, and that's what footy's all about. Whether the free kick was there or not there, doesn't matter. Jack Nunes to go back and kick that goal, give him another 10 shots. I reckon he maybe makes one. That
Yeah,
is
it's a
one
tough
of the
kick.
hardest kicks in AFL. On the boundary, wrong side for a right footer, and he absolutely guided it through with precision. Oh,
It
I
was.
was
That's a tough
celebrating
kick.
for him. I was celebrating for him. Don't get me wrong, I don't really like. I used to dislike Freo a lot more than what I do now. I don't mind him because Ross Lyon was the coach, and I just don't like Ross Lyon as a coach in general. He just coaches a crap brand of footy. But that was exciting. That was exciting, and I'm happy for Carlton because they've been on the wrong end of a couple of those where they've lost on the last kick. So it's good for them as a club and as an up and coming and potentially improving and looking towards finals, and they've got a chance of making finals.
Yeah, that game
how good
put
would
them.
that be for Carlton as a club?
Yeah, that win put them one game out of the 8. So anything can happen, really. If they can string along a couple wins, as we know, there's only I think 5 rounds left of footy, so anything's possible.
Anything's possible. They're sitting right there. And
the next game, we're not even going to waste our breath on it. Marcus Bontempelli, if you haven't watched it, decimated the Adelaide Crows. We're not even going to get into it. It was 111-54. I reckon Adelaide was lucky to kick 54 points on the scoreboard, mate, because Western Bulldogs went 16 goals, 15 behinds. They could have won by 100 points.
Jesus,
I'm not even going to bother.
I'm looking at this. The Bond has scored 199 on Supercoach.
Yeah.
Wow,
they're a shambles, Adelaide. You called it a couple of weeks ago. You actually said you couldn't see them winning one game. I said, I thought they might win something somewhere, and you said, no, I cannot see them winning one game. I'll be honest with you. I completely agree with you. They got Rory Sloan back. They had those guys back in their side, and they looked terrible. I don't know what's happened at that club, but I'm with you. I genuinely cannot see them win the game.
They are well.
And if you are the team that loses to them, honestly, I would be so disappointed as a supporter if you lose to that team because the brand of football they're playing is shocking. They're terrible. We'll move on to your boys against the Sainers.
Yeah, Dom, look.
Saints
Essendon supporter, definitely not one-eyed. I'll tell you how it is. We don't have depth. We've lost some of our better players. That's hurt us, and it's just showing, mate. It's just showing, having to go deep into our reserves and the likes. We ain't got the depth. And the thing is, we don't play that system. We don't play a system that allows for the next guy up, I believe. Similar to Richmond. But Richmond showed they have depth. And other teams have showed they've got depth. Essendon, and I've been saying this for a while, we don't have depth. Man, and I could question some of the things that they've done at the club, in terms of getting rid of some players and continually playing players. And, I don't understand why they play Tom Bellchambers when you've got Andrew Phillips on the bench. Bellchambers, as good as a servant he was for the club, the guy sucks. He's no good anymore. He's past his best. You watch him, he's like a dinosaur out there. The way he contests for the ball on the ground is pathetic. You know, you're a big fella. You should be, getting down and win some hard balls. He goes up for a mark. He can barely get off the ground. Like, although Phillips is not much more athletic than him, he actually does better. And the games that he's played, Draper's good.
Play Draper.
They got to keep playing Draper.
Just play Draper as a young kid. He's showing something. Just play Draper. I don't know what they're doing.
Double Chambers, did they?
Honestly, I'm with you on that.
On that game, they didn't. They got to keep playing Draper. Yes, they're easy to run. But what I'm saying is, just some of the decisions that they go down there. You can go with it. St Kilda, doing wrong. I wouldn't take much from that win because Essendon are no good. We're an average side at best.
Still don't rate them.
We lack consistency. We've got no depth, and the injuries are hurting us. But that's part of the game. You got to get injuries. We've still got a game in hand, so I mean, potentially if we make a run, we could sneak into the finals. But what even for? Because we'll get in there, we'll get kicked out in the first round. So there'll just be another year without winning a final, and we'll send that total to. I've got to look up the Twitter account. There's a guy there that changes the.
Yeah, I know that.
Every day he changes it. Oh, it's 2,500 and something days, and that Essendon hasn't won a final.
I have seen that guy.
Oh, biggest troll.
We'll give him a shout out. Next game was really straightforward. West Coast played against a Hawthorn squad that really going with the youth. No surprises. West Coast got the win. The only terrible thing to come out of that game is James Sicily did his ACL for the Hawks, and he'll miss the rest of this season. And at this point in time, it's August. You'll probably miss a fair chunk of next season as well, which is no good. Nothing much to report there. West Coast were too strong.
Yeah, West Coast is too strong, and it looks like they're firming up to potentially win some home finals. And I mean, West Coast are looking the real deal this year. I genuinely think there's 3 teams that can win it, and that's it.
I'll be honest.
4 teams. 3 teams. I don't reckon Brisbane can win it because they've shown that they can't improve their accuracy in kicking.
I'm with you,
and that's going to shoot them in the foot.
Yeah, I agree with you with that. I genuinely think it could be maybe Geelong, West Coast, and then the team that we're going to talk about now, Richmond. In my opinion, I've had a discussion with a couple of people, mate, throughout the week, and I genuinely reckon Richmond's the best team. I can't see anyone beating them. I know they struggled a bit in this game. Gold Coast probably could have pounced them, got the win, but I'm not looking much into it at the moment, yeah. They're missing 2 key players in their back line in Asprey and Hooley. They're still missing Prestia. Soldo's doing really well at the moment, but Nankervis is another option there for the ruck if they really want to take it. They got so much depth. Cochin's back. In my opinion, Trent Cochin is the most important player in that Richmond football side. I know they got Dustin Martin. He's a great player. He's a champion. He's a champion player. But Trent Cochin, for his leadership ability,
he's the leader.
And his hardness at the ball, he's the most influential and most important player in that side. And that was shown in 2017 when they won the flag. He carried that team on his back in those finals. He came up clutch with some goals. The hard ball gets. One of his most famous goals was that goal he kicked in the 50 where he got tackled and he kicked it on his oppo. He's the driving force for that side. And I'm glad to see him playing again because I know he's had his injury issues and stuff. It's great to have him back in the side. But genuinely, as much as I probably want another side to win the flag, Richmond, they just look too good. Honestly, if those 3 guys have to come back in, and what are you going to do? You think about it. Those 3 guys go out, go in. 3 guys go out, but those 3 guys are so good that it's just depth for the team.
And this is where it just comes back to Richmond being a great overall club over the last 5 years. Where they're recruiting, where players have now left, like Townsend left, came to Essendon. The other one that left and went to St Kilda, Butler, and doing well there. That's depth that they've lost, but they've still got depth.
They got guys like Shy Bolton, who was playing as like a forward pocket, and now they're just like, oh no, we'll try him in the middle. And the guy's like a gun midfielder, and it's just worked for him. It's just sometimes there's luck in football, but like the ability of
There's
players.
no luck in recruiting, mate. And
No,
you know,
that's what I'm
they've
saying.
done well to recruit players and take chances on guys. You know, like Marlon Pickett. No one wants to take the guy.
They took
But
the
yet
chance.
here he is,
That's another guy
they
they
took
got.
the chance.
Guys like Liam Baker as well, who you thought, oh, this guy's going to be nothing. Look at him. As hard as the footy. Jake Arts, he's hard at the footy. I love Jake Arts, by the way.
They're my pick.
He's a good footballer.
You know, with that midfield and that forward line, it's dangerous, man. It's dangerous, and the premiership experience. They've already won 2. You know, we've seen this story before with Hawthorn. You know, you come up against these sides that have that experience, and they just when they get to that stage, they just know how to get the job done.
Yeah, they're one of those teams.
Yeah,
If they can have a terrible final series and scrape in wins, but I'll tell you what, you don't want to play them in the grand final. That's it. Because they'll hold your own with you for X amount of time, and then once they pull the trigger, and we saw it last year, GWS will close with them. They pulled the trigger, and once they pulled the trigger in a grand final, they did against Adelaide, you can't catch them. That's it.
It's not it's that no team can consistently go at their intensity for that long.
No, their intensity is ridiculous. The pressure
No
gorge
team
is
has
going to explode.
that they can go with that intensity.
The pressure gorge is going to explode on Fox Footy, mate, if they have to show it during a Richmond game again. The arrow can't get any further up the elite scale, mate. It's going to explode.
Blow up the Richter.
It's going to blow. Oh,
it's going to.
But it was a good round
mate.
of footy. Yeah, I know. Off the Richter, I tell you, just like their footy at the moment, they're going to win it.
All right, John. Let's look forward to the upcoming games. Let's pull our tips and.
All right, let's go. Here we go, Saucy. Suns, Carlton.
I'm going to go the Suns. I'm going Suns.
Dogs, D's.
Oh, this is going to be a great game, ladies and gentlemen.
This is good.
I'm going to go with the Doggies.
All right, I'm going D's.
These are up and about. They've won 3 in a row, ladies and gents.
Yeah.
They're pushing towards finals. They might sneak in.
Port Hawthorn. I'm going Port. It's at Adelaide Oval.
Port. They'll win by 6 goals.
Dons, Richmond.
Tigs.
Dockers, Swans. At Optus.
Oh, that's a tough one. The Swans played well last week, and you know what? They were forced to play on the bigger ground. I think it was over at Optus Oval, and they played well. I'm backing in the Swans.
Oh, the Swans.
No, Swans back-to-back W's.
Adelaide Cats.
As I said, they won't win a game. They will not win a game. And they could quite easily get tipping for you. Again.
I'm tipping them for you because they are a rabble. Brisbane St Kilda at the Gabba.
So this is a good game. And, I mean...
Oh, no. You're not thinking about it, are you?
I'm thinking about it, but I'm going to go with Brisbane. I think it's up to the game.
Oh, good. So I'm going Brisbane. West Coast Giants.
West Coast.
Yeah, I'm going West Coast.
That's an easy one.
And then the biggest game of the round, ladies and gents. On Monday, 7:10, finish up work, sit down on the couch, and get ready for the big installment of the Pies versus the Roos. Get around it. I'm actually going to tip North.
This is going to be a good game. You got any ins coming in? Anyone back from injury at all?
Oh well, we dropped half our team because they're shit. So we could just bring in those guys that are shit. We lost. Like I said to you, we got another guy that got injured.
I got no confidence in the Pies. I got no confidence, but I'm going to tip him. It's a flip of the coin, Dom. This game is a flip of the coin.
It is.
Yeah,
it is.
It is a flip of the coin. I'm going to go the Pies. They haven't shown me anything, but we're just going to go with them.
Done. Perfect. All right, moving on to the F1s. I'll tell you what, I'm going to get a bit of
been some good action in the F1.
Oh man, I'm gonna have separation anxiety this week because there's no race. Oh, just
All right,
just
give us a bit more time to cover the NBA, mate.
Yeah, I know. Before we get into the Grand Prix, great news. All 10 constructors have agreed to have signed on to the Concord Agreement for Formula One. If you don't know what that is that all 10 teams have agreed to the decision from 2022 and onwards, the way that they're changing the sport with the equalization and stuff in terms of money and car adjustments. So because they've agreed to that, those terms from 2022 will now last till 2025. So they have 3 years to trial it before they make any other further decisions, which is good because you don't want to do a trial off 1 year and then can it because you're not happy with it. So Mercedes...
We're going to give it a fair crack. And I think it's good, man. Hopefully this creates a bit more evenness amongst the teams and we get some more challenges.
Exactly.
Challenging Hamilton at the top because that's what we want to see. We don't want to see him year after year blow guys out of the water by 50 plus points.
Yeah, I want to see him get tested. That's what we want. I think that's what everyone wants. We want to see... Personally, we've said it before, and we personally think Hamilton can put his driving ability up against anyone out there, regardless of the car. But everyone's whole thing is like, because his car's that elite, that's the only reason why he wins. I prefer him to have an equal car to other people to show how good he is as a driver. So you can see him overtake people. Because you don't get to see him overtake people anymore, mate. Because he sits at the front of the pack and just wins. So he's got nothing to do.
On the weekend, he crossed the finish line. He didn't even know it was finished. He was that much of in his zone.
I know. Well,
he didn't even know he finished.
Genuinely, Sauce is not joking. He genuinely didn't even realise it. They came on the team radio and said, "Oh, great win." He's like, "Oh, we finised. Oh, that's good." I'm like, great.
He just loses track when he said that, I'm like, mate, the guy, he was in his own, mate. What did he win by? He won by 30 seconds?
Yeah, 31 over Max Verstappen. It was a good race. It was a good race. Hamilton was actually, he did the team thing at the start. What happened was Valtteri Bottas, who poled second quickest off the start, got overtaken by Verstappen and Lance Stroll. He got the position back from Lance into third. But what Hamilton was doing was he was making it frustrating for Verstappen. So he was doing slow lap times and keeping it to about 1.5 to 1.8 second lead on Verstappen, just so Bottas could try and catch up to Verstappen. But Stroll kept the lead for so long that the team made the call after X amount of laps to say, okay, push it, Lewis, in case they had to make the stop. Obviously, they're thinking about him winning. They don't want him to pit. Then Verstappen takes the lead, makes up some time, and then obviously when he stops, he can come back out first. They don't want to do that with the stop. So it just shows that he slowed it down to get his teammate into it, and then when he was told to put the foot down, he ended up winning the race by 31 seconds.
Let me tell you, that Red Bull Racing team have got some elite mechanics in there with the stops.
Oh,
they've done a stop 1.09 seconds. Are you kidding me?
Oh, it was unreal.
They had to change one. Well, they had to change one front tire, but to do it in 1 second, get the guy out. What?
It was crazy.
Lightning.
Oh, and the good thing about Red Bull now, I'm really enjoying the fact that their cars are starting to become, I don't know, they're getting tuned a lot better now. So they're progressing, and so is Racing Point. So Racing Point now are going to compete with McLaren and stuff and Ferrari mid pack. But Red Bull can actually probably make a bit of a push. They just got to get Alex Albon's car right. So then when Verstappen can hopefully finish second, Albon can finish up third or fourth and then try and steal some more points from Valtteri Bottas. But overall, Hamilton won it again, as we said.
Seems like a broken record every time we come in here. Oh, last week it wasn't, but, you know.
Speaking about broken record, he did break a record. He now has the most podium finishes in the history of Formula One with 156. So the
Just
broken record.
156.
Yeah. The standings in the race were Hamilton first, Verstappen second, Bottas third, Stroll fourth, Perez fifth, first race back from COVID, which was good. Sainz sixth, Vettel finished seventh. from Ferrari. That's a surprise.
Oh, he did a one-stopper, I believe. That's the reason why he got into 7th.
Alex
An
Albon,
amazing race for him.
yeah. Alex Albon 8th, Pierre Gasly 9th, my boy Lando Norris in 10th, Aussie Danny Ricciardo in 11th, and just to mention that Charles Leclerc did not finish the race with engine failure. He went through a turn and his engine just turned off. He was very lucky not to cause an accident. So unfortunate for him. World Championship points, Hamilton is now 132 points ahead of Verstappen on 95, Bottas on 85. Now, this is where it's really interesting. For 4th, Leclerc, 45, Stroll and Albon on 40. Norris is 39. Perez is 32. Sainz is 23. And Danny Ricciardo on 20. Constructors, Mercedes on top. Red Bull is almost 100 points behind them. Racing Point is on 63. McLaren, 62. And Ferrari, 61. So, 3rd to 5th there is a really good battle. And then Renault, AlphaTauri, Alfa Romeo on 2, Haas with 1, and Williams with the big fat donut with 0 points. Next race is not this week, unfortunately. It'll be on the 28th to the 30th of August. So that'll be great. That is the Belgian GP. So we're looking forward to that one, and we'll see what happens. And hopefully someone can dethrone Hamilton once again this season.
I don't think so, Doma, but we're tuning in regardless.
Oh, 100% we will. Hopefully my boy Lando can get that podium finish again.
He's doing all right, Lando. He drives pretty good up. He's young. He will improve.
He's young. Yeah, we'll give him time. All right. UFC.
Oh, here we go, Dom.
Massive week.
Huge.
I
said last week that this was a big card, and it was. One of the fights that I want to watch. Really disappointed, so we'll just skim over that one, which is obviously Sean O'Malley versus Marlon Vera. Marlon Vera getting the TKO after Sean O'Malley had to retire hurt essentially because his ligaments in his ankle gave way. From what I've read, this is a pre-existing injury that he's had previously. Obviously, it's healed and it's come back again. I think he had it last in 2018. So we'll have to see what happens there with Sean O'Malley and how he comes back. But it's disappointing to see that it ended that way. It actually gave him his first L. So he's now 12-1 in MMA. Marlon Vera on the other side was celebrating like he had a massive win. But, I mean, the fight was even up until that point. He got injured. It happens. It's a brutal sport. So I just want to see. I just want to see O'Malley come back and there to be a rematch potentially with that one. On to the next one. So we'll go through Junior Dos Santos and Yarazinzo Rozenku. Heavyweights, I love watching them. You got to tune in. It's
just bombs being thrown.
Oh, there's just bombs being thrown. The guys can handle punches. You see some of the right hands that land, and you can't believe that they're still standing. This was a quite an even fight, and through the first round, you couldn't really say who was the clear leader. It was touch and go. I mean, maybe Dos Santos was edging a little bit, but in the second round, there was no doubting who was the winner. That was Inku when he just landed me with some absolute heavy blows. And he got Junior Dos Santos on the way out, and bang.
He got him with that uppercut, and then he skimmed him on the uppercut, and then when Dos Santos went to back out,
he clopped him with another few.
He didn't see that right hand come over the top, and
that's the one that really. And then he just dropped to the ground and he finished the job.
That was it after that.
Up until that point, you couldn't say who was really in front in the fight. But when you get the KO, you're clearly the better guy. showed good technique to land the punch. I mean, both guys landed punches in the first round, but none to this ferocity and ability. Rozenku, that brings him 11-1 into the UFC. Let's see where next in the heavyweight division. I mean, we don't know what's going to happen. Potentially, John Bon Jones could be coming up into heavyweight as he's relinquished his heavyweight title.
I think it could be happening. I think I did see a report by a UFC reporter saying that inside word is that he will be making the jump up to the heavyweight since he vacated that light heavyweight title. That would be ginormous. That would be. I tell you, you know who we want to see fight, don't you? I don't care about Stipe Miocic. I know he's the champion, but we know who we want to see. Our boy Derek Lewis.
We want to see Big Derek against him.
Oh, that's what we want to see.
We do. I honestly think he will tear Derek Lewis a new asshole, but I hope he does it.
I just want to see it.
I do want to see it, but I just think he's too quick and nimble for Derek Lewis. That's where he would get killed because John Jones is just so good and so methodical at breaking you down. He can do it from the inside and do it from the outside. And I'll just go over the last bit of the main card, which was Herbert versus Daniel Pineda. Pineda got the W in KO in the second round, and John Dobson versus Merab Devisvili. I wouldn't have a clue. Ladies and gentlemen, Merab, I'm going to call him. That's his first name. And he's now 12-4 in the bantamweight division. Got the win over John Dodson. So there's the upcoming card, Doma.
Oh, well, we've got to go over one more fight, mate.
Hang on.
The biggest match of the card.
Oh, yeah, fuck.
The greatest, the great man. DC. Hats off to him. What a career. He's going to retire. He copped a good old-fashioned Ric Flair eye poke from
Stipe. He landed a beauty.
Mate, if you watch the replay in slow-mo, his finger practically went through his eyeball. That's how hard
it was intense.
But good fight.
We both watched the fight, Doma, and where I sit, I mean, the judges gave it unanimous decision. That was all the cards were in Stipe's favour, and to be honest, I can't really deny it. I can't really
you can't doubt them.
Yeah, I can't doubt their decision, man.
Based on what you saw.
Based on what I saw, Stipe looked like he was just a better fighter. He was able to land cleaner blows. He was able at numerous times just to pin Cormier against the fence and land blows that way. He won the strike count. Overall, he won the strike count to the head as well. It was an even fight, ladies and gentlemen.
Yeah.
But, when you're the champ and you assert yourself like that, the judges are more likely to be in your favor because you've got the belt. If you don't have the belt, you've got to do that extra bit to show the judges that you want that belt. And I just feel that Cormier didn't do that, His corner was saying, get a takedown. He didn't even manage one takedown for the whole fight, maybe one. He's a guy who's won a gold medal in wrestling, but yet doesn't want to try and get Stipe to the ground. His first fight, he knocked him out with a ripper punch. Second fight, he allowed it to go to 5 rounds, he lost. Third fight, he allowed it to go to 5 rounds, and he lost. I think he didn't change up his game enough. He got beat to the body again. He took a lot of body shots, and Stipe was able. It probably didn't hurt him as much as last time, but Stipe looked lean. He looked mean. I think he's there for a bit of a long title run potentially until hopefully he can stay there till John Jones, if he's going to move up to heavyweight, can get there and challenge him. But Stipe looked like he wanted to win that fight. He was the better fighter. I wanted DC to win because I like the bloke, but he just didn't do enough. He did not do enough.
He didn't. But like we said, all the best to DC. It was awesome. I'll just throw this one to you before we get into the card. If John Jones does come up, do you reckon that DC doesn't retire? So he gets a crack at him? He just wants to fight the bloke, mate. That's all he wants to do. He just wants to fight him. Sure.
I don't know, Doma.
Can you imagine?
I have no idea whether that'd be the case. Yeah,
They play cat and mouse with each other for so long.
they have.
We'll see what happens. But anyway, run us through the upcoming card.
All right, here we go. So we've got UFC Fight Night, Edgar versus Munoz. So obviously we'll just run you through the main card. So in the welterweight division, we've got the first on the main card, Daniel Rodriguez versus Takashi Sato. In the welterweight, we've got the women flyweight. We've got Maria Akapov versus Shanna Dobson. Well, I think Maria Agapov will sew that one up with ease. We've got the light heavyweight division, Marcin Pacino versus Mike Rodriguez. The light heavyweight, definitely tune in for this. Light heavyweight's always fun to watch. Oven St. Peru versus Alonzo Meanfield. I actually think Meanfield will get the W on this one. Peru has got a very consistent record and not shown that he can put together back-to-back performances. And Frankie Edgar and Pedro Munoz, the main fight on the night. Tune in this Sunday. UFC, froth every week. We love Dana White because he was just able to make this happen. Loving it.
Yeah, he's done very, very well. All right. Champions League. I tell you what, our tips for the Champions League. Well, at least you got two.
At least I got two. The Champions League games have come around thick and fast. We've already missed the semis. We've already missed the semis for tipping. And by the time we send this pod out, then the second semi will have played, so we'll know who the finalists are.
Well, we'll project it. We're going to project it. Stuff it. We're going to go PSG versus Bayern Munich in the final. And we're going to tip our winners. That's what we're doing. I know that's us riding off Lyon completely. Can you imagine if Lyon
they are $10. The bookies got them at $10, and Bayern Munich's just a lazy $1.22. So anyone wants some easy money, just $1.22 Bayern Munich.
In all honesty, there's nothing much to really. Well, PSG were really good. They beat Leipzig 3-0. Like we said, Bayern's going to face Lyon. Not much to get through with that stuff from the games that went past. The only game I want to talk about, and I know you really want to talk about this because you've got a bit to say about Barcelona. We're going to talk about Barca versus Bayern Munich because what we saw was an indictment on that football club.
What I saw was not Barcelona. Not the Barcelona I know. And we've grown up knowing.
It was terrible.
It was an absolute disgrace of a performance, Doma. You know, I can understand. This is what I don't get with Barcelona. They've got this arrogance about them. Oh, we're Barcelona. We got to play the Barcelona football. We only play football this way. Well, sometimes the opponent is just better than you, and you can't play that way. And they tried to play the continual way that we know Barcelona likes to play, and they got towed up. 8-2 is a shellacking. And it could have been more.
I really say it was 9-1, considering that Alaba kicked that own goal. So he helped them bloody score.
There you go. But I don't know where they're at as a club, Domo. Like, you know, I'll go back on it. They've made, in the last 2 years, they've made 3 signings. Coutinho, Dembele, Griezmann. All over $100 million. All 3 of those players started on the bench in that game. One of them for the other team.
And what did that other player on the other team do? Kick 2 goals against them. Why? I'm with you. Why you spend $100 million on a guy? Philippe Coutinho is a gun. Yeah? You're spending that and you're like, oh no, we'll loan him out to Bayern Munich. Bayern Munich's gone, oh yeah, we'll take him on loan. Are you serious? Have you seen the quality of this guy? He could make your team so much better. Anyway, he's sitting on the bench like he was doing at Barcelona, so no different. Anyway, Bayern's like,
might be in Champions League now.
Yeah, exactly. Bayern's like, oh yeah, we'll just chuck him on. He did the right thing, kicked a couple goals. He didn't celebrate. That's as you do. Respect for your club. But deep down inside, he's probably thinking, up yours. Cop that.
So
like, really?
And that's where I'm getting, Dom. Like, I don't know where they're at as a club. Like, they sign these big players, but they don't play them. They don't get them to play good for their club. You know, the years that Griezmann played so well at Atletico, he can't come to Barcelona and play well.
Yeah, I don't know.
They lack a bit of speed on the wings. You know, they just
Coman's going to take over now.
Yeah, Coman's take over. There. But who knows
Messi's
what this is going to do?
Messi's not leaving. I'm just putting it out there. Messi's not leaving.
Yeah, you said it, Dom, and I agree with you. Your theory about the pressure that would be on Messi if he left Barcelona would be enormous.
All it takes is him to leave and go to any club and not win a title in his first year there, and everybody will say it's tarnished his legacy and he's Ronaldo's 10 times a player than what he is. That's what will happen. I don't care what anyone says. Everyone will just say, oh, actually, have a look at this. He's gone to Man City, for example, or he's gone to Inter Milan. Yeah? You can go to Inter Milan, who, in my opinion, are going to win Serie A next year. You know what I mean? Ronaldo's probably going to leave. But the thing that they forget, I read the bloody stats for Ronaldo a couple of weeks ago. I'm not going through them again. All right? What he did when he went to Juventus. It's like what he did at Juventus is like what he did when he went to Real Madrid. He breaks records. He dominates. Yeah? Ronaldo got bagged. Yeah? Bagged. Because they got kicked out. Mind you, they played the first leg and were down 2-0 in their leg before the break. They came back in after the big COVID break. They needed to win 3-2, yeah, because of away goals. What happened? Let me guess. Ronaldo kicked the 2 clutch goals to just bring them equal. I know they lost on away goals. Everyone goes, oh, Ronaldo's not clutch. Give me a spell. What does Ronaldo have to do? Like I said, the direct comparison with Ronaldo is LeBron James. No matter what these two guys do, they're always going to be criticized and compared to someone that people think that are better than them. Obviously, the analogy in basketball is a bit different because Michael Jordan, but they keep basing Messi to Ronaldo. If I'm looking at a guy like Messi, I reckon this is a chat we can have next week for soccer, because I know we're going to go through just one game, 2 games. We'll talk about the Europa and the Champions League. I'll just give a bit of a tease now. You had a guy in Messi that played with 2 of the best midfielders in Iniesta and Xavi in his life, and he played with Ronaldinho. Don't forget that. Like, he played with those guys, yeah? Like, it's not like he didn't play with Ronaldinho.
Ronaldinho, what a star.
Don't forget these players. Like, he played with them all. Henry, Zlatan Ibrahimovic, Samuel Eto'o, David Villa, Carlos Puyol. Do I have to keep going? This is who Messi played with, yeah? He played with gunplay. I'm not saying Ronaldo didn't play with good players, but every team Ronaldo has been in, he's been the definitive star by a mile. If I looked at those Barcelona teams, Messi's good. Yeah, he's a gun. He kicks goals. But I tell you what, I'm not bagging Paul Scholes and Giggs at like United, because I equally value them as midfielders and the midfielders that played with Ronaldo in United to the same level, if not better, than Xavi and Iniesta, for the fact of they played in the most physical league on the planet and they were able to feed balls to Ronaldo and he was able to kick goals. You know what I'm saying? Instead of playing this tiki-taka in Spain. But besides the point, Messi needs to suck it up. You're a leader. What the footage we saw of you at halftime, Lionel Messi, in that change room, epitomizes the shambles that your club has gone to. You sulking in a corner like a little sook. Literally, grow up, mate. Everyone worships this guy, and I understand why you worship this guy. But don't even get me started. Don't even get me started. I'll just put it to you this way. Saucy and I have been working on our best 15 players ever. We're going to do that starting 11 team in a few weeks. Here's a little spoiler for you. He's not even in my starting 11. He's not even in my starting 11. I don't know where Saucy puts him. He might. I haven't seen his team. I don't plan on seeing it till we present him. But here's a little...
I'll tell you,
here's a
I
spoiler.
haven't done anything.
No, but when you do it, here's the spoiler, though. He's not in my team.
Oh, it's going to be a tough one, man. I've just been thinking about it. I'm trying to decide who I put up. Who's the front three? What are you
Just
playing? A
Zlatan.
4-3-3? Is that your formation?
Yeah, we'll go 4-3-3, but I'm just playing one player. I'm just putting Zlatan on the field. That's it. That's all I need.
Just Zlatan.
He thinks he's the greatest thing since sliced bread. That's all we need.
God, he's God, mate.
He's God. Well, anyway, that's
Right,
enough on Barca.
Yeah, Barcelona. Like I said, we don't know where they're at as a club. Let's see what they do. See what transfers they do. Let's see if they make another 100 million signing and sit him on the bench. Do that again and see where you get. Because it served you well the last 2 years. It served you really, 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 really well. Barcelona,
definitely did last year.
absolute shambles. Not the club that we knew and loved and watched growing up, over the last seven years, especially when they had those gun midfielders. They need to find some mojo. Next one I just wanted to touch on quickly, which is Man City and their game with Lyon. I watched the game. Boy, oh boy. They had chances.
Oh, did they ever?
They had chances. They got it back to 1-1. They had chances. I mean, if anyone's seen Raheem Sterling miss, it's one of the greatest misses in Champions League history. I don't know how he's missed it.
I couldn't believe
Doma,
it. Yeah.
they got caught on the high line 3 times. 3 times on the high line, trying to play that offside line and just caught with speed going through. I genuinely, if they got through, I couldn't see them beating PSG with the speed that they've got up front, and allowing that high line and allowing Mbappe and Neymar, the likes, to run in behind. I think they would have got beaten regardless. But Man City, no titles this year. That's disappointing for a club that, perceive that they should be winning something every year. I mean, let's see what they do. Let's see how Pep changes the squad. He's definitely going to make some signings. They've obviously got off their financial fair play sanction, so they can buy players.
That's another thing.
They can buy players. Don't ask me how, but they've done it.
Oh,
They've done it.
I'm not ranting again
Look,
because I'll lose my mind.
We all know how FIFA's corrupt. They've given FIFA a few cash dollars under the table to wipe it all clean. And look, that's just what's happening.
That's a disgrace.
So, I'm just going to say where Pep's going to take the team this year. He obviously needs to improve a hell of a lot. David Silva leaving, and I think there was another player that's left. David Silva, on that note, actually signed for Real Sociedad, was meant to go to Lazio, but Real Sociedad done a little sly and stole him straight from the hands of Lazio. He was literally to sign the contract, and he got a call on the side and said, "Come back to your homeland, Spain. The nice Latina ladies on the beach. Can't get better than that." And he's gone, "No problem. I'm coming straight back to España." So he's done the dirty on Lazio, and then they are not happy. They are not happy. Let me tell you that. They are not happy at all. Another note, Willian signed on to Arsenal, confirmed. Great signing.
Great signing.
On the wings, and teach our young guys that we've got up and coming like Saka on the wings. Like I said, we don't know where he's at. There's potential word he could be going to Juve. Does that mean that Ronaldo's leaving? So that's why they're looking for someone to replace Ronaldo. We don't know. But like I said, it's not happy at the club because obviously Arteta didn't see him in his plans when Arteta took over and he didn't get the game time that he wanted. Was it warranted? Who knows? I mean, Arteta with his game plan did get us the FA Cup. So I don't know. I would like to see, like I said, at the club. I actually think there's position with him to play, but I just don't know why we never try 2 strikers up front. We always just persist with playing one and wingers and putting Aubameyang on the wing. I don't know, but we'll see what happens. Doma, Jordan Sancho, if he's out of reach, word is Douglas Costa from Juve to Man United. Would you be happy with that one?
Sign him up.
Sign him up. He's a good
Sign
player.
him up tomorrow. Great
He's a good
player.
player. He's probably better than what you got on wings at the moment.
Yeah, he's an experienced player, and honestly, I'll take him. To be honest, it's good. I like guys in that frame of mind. I'm pretty sure he played with Paul Pogba as well, Douglas Costa, which is good.
Yes, he did.
Also, to have someone with a winning mentality to partner up with a guy like Bruno Fernandes as well, he will be awesome. The attack's really good. We're young. The only one thing which I'll be looking at closely in the next few weeks is hopefully we can get another centre back potentially.
You're happy with Martial being the lead striker? He didn't fare too well in Europa League against Sevilla. Missed some chances.
I'd rather have.
He doesn't have that killer instinct. He's got potential. He's got speed. He's got the flair. But does he have that striking finisher's clutch ability?
Yeah, I don't know. I think Martial's probably, I don't know, better as like playing like a 4-3-3 and actually having Rashford as the main player, and then having Martial coming off one wing and maybe Greenwood off the other wing, or putting Rashford on the wing and having Greenwood as the striker, and then obviously playing Pogba, Fernandes, and whoever the hell Solskjaer wants to put in the middle there, and then having our four. Ideally, I'd like a 3-1-2-1-2, so we can have an attacking midfielder, two mids, and a defensive midfielder. I've always liked that setup, like when we had Matic there as a CDM, and then having the three defenders. But I don't know. We'll see what happens next season. It'll be good. I'm just glad that we made Champions League.
Champions League, that's an improvement. I mean,
exactly.
Things are looking up at United. So from what you have, and any United fan out there that's not happy with this with the season, I think you should just go look where you've been the last 3 seasons
100%.
before that. And
exactly
it's
right.
definitely been a successful season for you guys.
I'm definitely
knocked out of the Europa. But
I know. Not complaining though.
Quick, we'll touch on the Europa. The Inter Milan, obviously, pants Shakhtar Donetsk 5-0, so there's not much to go on there. They are versus Sevilla in the final. Interesting one. Let's give a prediction. I'm going Sevilla wins in the final because they've already won 3 Europa League finals previously. They know what needs to be done to get the job done in a final, and I think they are good enough to beat Inter Milan. I mean, Shakhtar Donetsk are nowhere near on the level to Inter Milan, so I think that was fair that they pants them there. Inter Milan have been good this season. But I'm going with Sevilla. You, Doma?
Yeah. I am going with Inter. I just think the big Romelu Lukaku up there has been extremely dominant, and I think they're hurting for the fact that they didn't win the Scudetto. So I think they'd probably want to come home with the trophy. Clearly, any club wants to, but I think they're just offensive power up front with their goal scoring and stuff. I think they'll be too strong. I reckon they'll win probably 1-0. It won't be high score. They're not kicking 3 goals like they did against Shakhtar. I think it'll be a 1-0 and 5-0, against Shakhtar. But we'll see what happens there. And after that, just quickly, that Bayern game is tomorrow morning, but then the Champions League final is actually on Monday. So before our next pod is the Champions League final as well. So it's all happening in the next 4 days.
It's all happening. It is all happening.
Bang. Playoffs, Champions League, bang.
Well, are we giving a prediction on that Champions League final that we're calling that Bayern's going to get the W?
Yeah, I'm picking Bayern, and I'm saying Lewandowski.
Look, I'm going to go. I'm going to go with Bayern. I just think they're playing too good, and I think Bayern wins the final 3-2. I'm going high scoring. I want 4-3. I want more goals.
I reckon
there's got to be goals in the game.
I reckon Bayern. Well, if Bayern wins, it'll be Bayern. If Lyon wins, I think it'll be PSG. That's my prediction. But I'm going Bayern if it is Bayern PSG, and I'm probably going to go high scoring as well. I'm going to say 3-2 as well. And I'm going to say that Thomas Muller gets player of the game. I love him. Underrated. He's a gun.
He's an underrated player for sure, Domo.
Alrighty.
Underrated for sure. All right, Tomo, we're going to move on.
We are going to move on. Hobby talk.
We love this one, Domo, where we get to
We love it. We love talking
spiel
about the sports
all
cards.
about the hobby,
the
what's going
fluctuations,
on.
the ridiculousness at the moment again. Let's just say it was pretty good that Donovan Mitchell's cards went up yesterday. It only took him 57 points. At least he plays consistently like 30 minutes a night, and he went up money, like value. He plays 30 minutes a night every night, and he had 57 points once. But we get Bol to play 18 minutes in a scrimmage game. We'll put his prices up by 400%. But it's all equal. It all makes sense to me.
It all makes sense, Domo.
It all makes sense. Even though Bol probably won't even play 1 minute of the playoffs, but it's all good. Like it's okay. I understand it. I'm pretty sure everyone out there in the hobby understands it. So it's pretty good.
I am sensing a hint of sarcasm, Domo.
Yeah, just a little bit, considering that Zion's cards are now going down. A little bit. But this is where it's ridiculous. What's it take for you to go down in value? Like
it takes for you to not playing. That's how you go down.
It's just stupid.
Dom, this is where I'm sort of confused, and this is where I want to take it, because I took a few screenshots from guys who said these sorts of things.
Read them out.
Mentioning on these, I'll
right.
just go with it
as well if you want, but it's true.
I'll go with it. So here's a bloke on. Like what Dom has said. So Dom has pretty much just rehashed what this gentleman said. But RSC sports underscore cards on Instagram. It took a 57-point playoff performance from Mitchell to get hobby love. But Bol gets a block and hits a 3 in one possession, and his cards went nuts. Hashtag hobby 2020. All right, I'll go to the next one. He goes, now those Murray, so this guy, he's talking about Murray, Prism PSA 10 rookies. After he had that game where he was clutched down the stretch like we spoke about in the pod, and he made big shots and he went 36 and 6 of 9 from 3, his cards went up, right? His cards were on the 15th, which was 15th, 13th, even one on the 13th, sold for 291, PSA 10. Prism rookie, sold for 291. After the game, going for 550, 625 sold. So the card has gone up 200%, it's doubled, right? And all it's taken is just one 35-point playoff game. But this is where it's sad, Dom. When these cards go up in this fashion, they don't go down as quick. No. It takes months and sometimes even a year for that card to even regress. Because once it gets to that point, some people decide that they want to set the market and buy the cards up at that price because he's had one good playoff game. I mean, he could get knocked out of the playoffs. He might stink it up next game. Jamal Murray could shoot 1 from 10 next game and have 5 points, and his card won't go down. But he had a good game and his card goes up. Isn't that what you're saying? That's how the hobby's supposed to be, isn't it? Good game goes up, bad game goes down.
Well, technically,
but that's not how it works.
It's meant to be like the stock market. If a company does terrible, their stock prices go down. Their stock prices, if they have the worst day in the company's history, they don't just say, oh, you know what, we'll cut our losses. No, we'll just stay on even today. I don't think that's how it works.
If this is what we're deciding that we're building in the hobby with these people, and you've got...
And we love the hobby. We're just trying to say the regulations are just ridiculous.
We're just trying to get with the regulation. If this is what people want to build in the hobby, and it seems it's going this way, and Dommy, you know my thing about this. I don't like this because, you know, like I said, and that's why I've been telling people to buy vintage. How can you pay for someone who's accomplished nothing when you can get guys who've accomplished so much and they're way cheaper? And I'm buying guys that have accomplished stuff because they've solidified their place in basketball history. Jamal Murray, what history has he got? What? 36-point playoff game. The guy's never even made it to the Western Conference Finals. So what history has he got? You know? We want to create this sort of day trading stock market, and we can blame this on the hobby in general and people's hype and NBA, watching NBA. We can also blame this on people, the investors, and, you know, guys like Sports Card Investor who, you know, goes on about this. And he talks about in his podcast, you know, buying guys at the start of the season that could potentially be in the playoff run and their price will go up. But the way that their prices are going up after just like one good game,
It's ridiculous.
It's just ridiculous. Sustained excellence should see your prices increase significantly.
Exponentially, yeah.
Right? Short excellence should see your price increase. But if you can't sustain that excellence, your price should be straight back down.
100%.
You know, and this is the problem with the hobby at the moment. Bol went up off a scrimmage. He's now going to barely play any minutes in the playoffs. Denver don't even make it to the Western Conference Finals. They get knocked out in the second round, most likely. What do Bol's cards do? I'm telling you, Dom. They ain't going back. You ain't going to be able to buy a prison basis for $1 and $2 like I was buying it for.
No. But this
no
is the
way.
thing. Like, what
You'll be still paying $10.
Yeah, but you look at the picture as an overall, in a month and a half's time, what happens when the NBA season's finished and there's nothing to do until it restarts? If prices should stay blanket on that level, yeah, is what I'm saying.
Well, if that's what they're trying to create in the hobby, is day trading thing.
Yeah,
I don't like it, Doma, and this is why I've gone to the extent that I've organised all my cards by player, just in case. You know, I've organised them all in boxes with by player, just in case one of these guys who have literally bought his cards for $1 each, all of a sudden has a 25-point game, 30-point game, and now all of a sudden everyone wants his cards, and I can sell those that I bought for $1 for $10 or $6, $7. And if I think he's no good, I'm going to sell it. Like Bol. Not that I don't think he's no good, but I just think his price is unjustified. So I sold him. And I did the same with Luka. I just sold some Lukas because I think his price is unjustified. The guy's accomplished nothing. He hasn't accomplished any significant thing within the NBA. He hasn't won a championship. How you can be paying that much for his cards off potential, I don't understand. The same with Trae Young. He hasn't accomplished anything, but you're paying so much for his cards off potential. Like Zion. You're paying, like, now that Zion's gone out, his cards are actually decreasing a bit. I mean, it's a good time to actually pick up a Zion card or two because, before during the bubble, potentially leading up to the bubble and that sort of scenario, his cards were up high. Now they're down. But yeah, I just don't know where we're at in the hobby and how card prices can be influenced by a game. It's so silly. It's so crazy. And then on the flip side, Doma, you know, you've got these guys playing ridiculous like money for guys who have proven nothing. Like I'll give you an example. Like guys are paying potentially. Donovan Mitchell was getting no love in the hobby. For some reason, no one wanted to buy his cards. Like people were buying his cards, but his cards were just at that price point that they potentially could have been. And I picked up a few of his base prisms, you know, cheap. And slowly as it's gone on, his prices have slowly increased, but never increased to the point where they should be. You know, you were buying at one stage Kobe White base rookie PSA 10s for just about the same price as a Donovan Mitchell. But a Donovan Mitchell has been to the playoffs before. He's won a playoff series before. He's been all-star. Kobe White's in his first year, but you're paying the same money. You're essentially saying that Kobe White in his first year is already better than Donovan Mitchell. I beg to differ.
I understand, like that one, it definitely shouldn't be anywhere near it. I can understand some players that probably aren't as good as Mitchell, but have been in the league the same amount of time and accomplished just as much, but they're more popular. I can understand popularity.
It does matter. It does matter what market
it
you're
does
playing
matter.
for as well.
But yeah, 100%. But I completely agree with you with that. Like, you should not be getting Kobe White. Like, PSA.
Well, this is what I mean, Dom. It literally took him to go off for nearly 60 points for his card prices to rise. How is that possible? You know, the guy has put in what I would call sustained performance.
Excellent. Yeah,
Not excellent. Like, not he's good. He's a great player.
He's good.
He's not an elite player, but he's shown that he can carry a team. He's shown it. Like, I mean, scoring 57 points isn't a small feat.
No.
And he's shown that he's the number one guy in Utah. I actually think if they put a bit more help around him, he could do something. They're in the West and they're making the playoffs. Or they're 4th, 5th seed.
No, it's true. It's just all over the shop. It really is. I don't know if there's someone out there that's creating something just to regulate it all. If there is somebody, we'll definitely give you a shout out and let people know in the hobby that there is someone trying to regulate it. But it's just insane. Like, I know that our mates at Cherry put something out during the week about, that's Cherry Collectibles, about the hobby getting ruined by guys like Gary Vee. And I watched that video and I completely agree with him. Gary Vee's not ruining the hobby. As much as everyone keeps bagging him, and he's doing what Saucey would do on Sauceys Smokey. But the difference is Gary Vee's got, not for anything, he's got 10 million people bloody following on Instagram. So if he goes, you know what I mean? So if he goes
10 million sheep, mate.
Yeah, no, it is cheap, but no. I know, but you know what I'm saying? If we had 10 million people following us and we said go buy Lual Cinder, if you don't know who that is, that's Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, rookie cards. What, you don't reckon those people are going to go buy them?
They would.
I actually prefer him to put up cards, vintage guys that have had sustained excellence and accomplished stuff in their career and have their prices. I'd rather him every week or every day put up a vintage card like Shaq and Kobe or Tim Duncan and get the recognition they deserve so they can outweigh the market completely, flip the market on its head, put all those vintage guys in the pinnacle of prices, have all the modern days in the middle tier and all the rookies at the bottom tier.
Yeah.
And that's how you work it out. I prefer a guy with actual impact to make the change.
Let me just read this one for you. So this is from anyone sports _card_ investments. He couldn't have said it any better himself. I'll just read it word for word because it's well written. Man, the hobby is in a funny place, full of nothing but optimism and zero downside. LOL. Jamal Murray, 4-year vet, has a good playoff game, not like he hasn't done before. 2 34-point games against Portland last year in the playoffs. And his cards essentially, that was in brackets, that part, so it's just proving that he's had performances like this before.
He's done it.
And his cards essentially double based off some sales within the last week. Is he now a top 3 to 5 point guard in the league because of a game warranting these prices? This is the issue I have with one game causing card prices to be impacted this much. One meaningless playoff game, in brackets, in the grand scheme of things, by Jamal Murray is not going to impact the way he is viewed at the end of his career when the Nuggets are knocked out of the playoffs next round. I guess there's that many new people in the hobby that had no idea who Jamal Murray was. ? That right there sums it up for you. This guy's performed in the playoffs before. So what's it any different to him putting 36 this time? He put 34 last year, and he's performed in the playoffs before. So hey, what's it any different? Why is his card prices going up now? How about his card prices go up when he achieves something? when he wins a championship with Denver. Like, that should why his car prices are. Or his car prices maybe by the end of his career, he ends as one of the, premier 3-point shooters to ever grace the court or grace the NBA. And he's got, amazing records or some rubbish like that. Then it should be valid.
But not now.
Don't get me wrong, I don't think Jamal Murray's a bad player. But even his card prices, what they've now exploded to, are unjustified. I tried to sell Jamal Murray rookie patch auto, right, for like $40 when he wasn't playing. He was injured earlier in the year. No one even wanted to buy it. No one. Like, I just don't understand. And that's what I mean. Like, that's where Jamal Murray should sit. Like, people other than Denver Nuggets fans, I mean, he's not in the top 3 point guards in the league, that's for sure. I mean, he might not even be in the top 5. But he's a very good basketball player. And that's where his prices should be. The way his prices have gone, he's now what? Now up to 600. 600. He's now at Damian Lillard's prices, what they were, like I was telling you, Doma, about 3 months ago. Damian Lillard was at that price. So he's now caught up to Damian Lillard's old price. Obviously, he's nowhere in the stratosphere of Damian Lillard. But I just don't get it. But the fact that he's got to that price after one game, he's double. It's messed up, and I don't like it. I don't like it. But in saying that, Doma, I'm aware of it, and that's why in my Sauceys Smokey in the next segment,
I actually can't wait.
I'll be dropping a modern day player, ladies and gentlemen, a modern day player. I love vintage, and I'm still buying vintage. Because, ladies and gentlemen, those old players, they're underpriced. Don't tell anyone. Although I'm telling you. They're underpriced. And Gary V, if you're seeing this, start posting Shaq cards, start posting the greats, Kobe's, start posting it because the market needs to wake up. You can't be paying $2,000 for a Luka Doncic PSA 10 when the guy's accomplished jack shit. I mean,
I'm with you. I completely agree. I honestly completely agree with it.
Zion's NBA hoops cards are the same price as Shaquille O'Neal. That ain't an indictment on the hobby. I don't know what the hell is. Shaquille O'Neal is the first coming of Zion. And I've said this before, we don't even know if Zion's going to be any good or even reach the level that Shaquille O'Neal did. It's a joke. It's
just ridiculous. It's just ridiculous.
But that was something that we had to get through on Hobby Talk and just get it off our chest and put it out there. And we use this platform to have these discussions so we can, educate people that this shouldn't be the way. Like, this should not be the way that you're just looking at what's happening right now. And I blame some of these platforms that have created this sort of havoc in the hobby, that have created this day trading rubbish, like, platforms like Star Stock that, advocate for this day trading rubbish. You're supposed to be collecting guys. Their value should be based off significant accomplishments within the NBA. And obviously there's anomalies in terms of popularity and that sort of thing, but
that's with everything. I completely understand that, but it's just ridiculous at the moment. Yeah. It's out of hand. Like you said, I'll tell you what we're going to do. Cut this clip, Sauce. You know how we do it on our socials. I'm going to tag Gary V in that clip all week. I'm going to post the same clip on our platform all week, every day, and I'm going to tag him in there. That's what I'm doing. I want him to see it because he knows what's up.
Guys, anyone who doesn't realize, he knows what's up. But
he got censored, that was a censorship what happened to him, yeah? And I don't agree with it because, yeah, he built the following himself. He did all the hard work, yeah? And yeah, he's posted a few things and the market's gone crazy. But like Sauce said, if you're a sheep and you want to believe Booker's card is worth 400% what it's worth after a post from a guy, that's your problem. Do your research. He's just saying, I'm collecting this card because like I see potential in him. And everyone thought,
And at the
Gary
price
Vee-
he bought him, there is potential. But your potential
Not-
maxes out because he hasn't won anything. As good as Booker is, and I think he's going to be a great player in the NBA in years to come. Anyone who can put up 71 points in a game is good. Once again, I bring it back to the point. What has he accomplished? Zero. Absolutely zero. And his career might end that way. We don't know. He might, his best accomplishment in his whole career might be, all-star appearances, and he might end in the top 15 scorers of all time. And that's it. I mean, that's still a good feat, but it's not as good as winning a championship.
100%.
And there's guys out there that have won 4, 5, and they are the centerpiece of those championships. They are vital. They are not there. They don't win any of those 4, that's for sure. Maybe they still win 1 or 2, like I've said. And they are so underpriced. They are so.
A lot of things that people need to understand as well, and a good way of pricing things and thinking of value of a player to an association like the NBA. I don't know if a lot of people have listened to Colin Cowherd. We have mentioned him a few times on here, but he talks about something so interesting, and I reckon it should apply to a hobby like the sports trading card. He talks about telling the story of the sporting league with or without those players. So if I said to you, can you tell the story of basketball without Michael Jordan? You'd say, no, I cannot. Can I tell the story without Kobe White and Zion Williams and Luka Doncic at the moment? Yes, I can.
100% you can.
I know Luka's broken some records here, but he's done nothing. But can I tell the story without LeBron James? No.
Tell the story
Kobe
without Tim Duncan?
No. Tim Duncan? No. Shaquille O'Neal? No. Larry Bird, Magic Johnson, Hakeem Olajuwon. Do you want me to keep going? Wilt Chamberlain.
There's so many guys.
There's so many. I can tell the story of all these, like, without all these other guys. But they'll accomplish something. They'll get somewhere. You might say, oh, yeah, but they won a Rookie of the Year. Okay, well done to them. Then I could say, oh, he had one good year. That's all you got to say about a player won a Rookie of the Year. You know what that tells me? That's the only thing that you can tell the basketball story with his name. I just go, okay, he had a good rookie season. Did he win a title? No. Oh, okay. Did he win MVP? No. Okay. So why are you giving this guy time of day? I understand it is what it is now, because obviously these guys are playing now, but that's what we're trying to say. They should be in the middle tier.
They shouldn't be surpassing legends, stuff like that. And that's just
where
up here. That's what pisses
they're up
me
here
off.
and legends are down here is mind-blowing. Mind-blowing. It's just stupid because you do know what's going to happen, ladies and gentlemen. One day that's going to flip and all of a sudden those guys are not going to be worth anything. They'll be worth like $140 for a BGS 10 or a PSA 10. And you'll be like, oh, why is that only worth $140 now? But that Shaq's worth $2,000. Because people will realize eventually. Don't worry. People
will realize, mate, that the market's wrong.
Enjoy it while it lasts now while you're spending hundreds and hundreds of dollars on these guys, yeah? Because once it flips, you're going to lose hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of dollars.
If there is anyone out there also that doesn't agree with me on this point, that these players nowadays shouldn't be selling for that much, please contact us on our socials and let me know, and I'll be more than happy to have you on the show to discuss this point as long as you've got valid arguments why. And we will discuss.
We're happy.
We will discuss, because I genuinely can't sit there, and I'll put this to a lot of people that are on Instagram, and I've pointed it out, and people are like, oh, everyone goes, yeah. Oh, yeah.
You're right.
Oh, yeah.
That's what they do. Yeah, you're absolutely
That's all they do. No one ever has a rebuttal and goes, oh, but Luka's their only rebuttal is, oh, Luka's a generational talent. That's fine. He can be a generational talent that never wins.
That's good. Well, Shaquille O'Neal's a 5-time champion, a full-time champion.
4-time champion, 2-time MVP, 3-time finals MVP.
Kobe's won 5. Like, He's a generational talent. So is LeBron James. He was a generational talent. But guess what? He actually won 3 titles.
Guys, and this is what I mean. Everyone's got this Luka craze. Luka's second-year cards are going for more than some of LeBron's second-year cards. What is wrong with you people? What is wrong? Invest in potentially who's in the argument for greatest player ever to play the game, or invest in a guy in his second year. Like, I just don't understand, guys. I just don't understand. Anyway, Dom, we need to move on because this pod is taking...
It's getting out of control now.
It's getting out of control. And we need to run through this.
All right. Let's go. Yeah, I got it. Don't worry.
All right, here we go. He's all over it.
Ladies and gents, we bring to you the most anticipated segment of the week, of every week. We know you're looking forward to it. He's put a bit of a spice on it this week. Take into consideration, I know we just bagged the market and the prices, but we're actually going for a guy this week that we think, and Saucey's done his research, he's all over it. He's Smokey. He's an undervalued current player. Let's get into it. Drop it on him, Sauce.
Ladies and gentlemen. Now, as I said, obviously I don't like the way the market is. But sometimes you just got to acknowledge the fact and realize there's an opportunity for you to make some bank. And that's what I'm here to do. I'm here to inform you on a card that I think is undervalued, especially in today's market. And I'm giving you a specific card because it's just these cards are actually quite accessible at the moment on eBay, so I'd suggest anyone to get on there and grab one. But before I do, I actually had this statistical analysis up, but as I've mucked around, I've gotten out of it. So let me just bring it back up. All right. Here we go, ladies and gentlemen. Here is a guy that is actually this guy actually costs more than the guy that I want to buy. Right? His career stats, he averages 15.5 points a game. He shoots 36 from 3. That's not too bad. Not too bad.
It's actually not bad.
He averages 1 assist, 1 steal, 0.5 blocks.
You average more than 1 assist next season, but anyway, keep going.
So this is a guy who's currently with those stats is selling more for the guy I'm about to tell you should buy. Right? The guy that I want you to buy. He on his career averages 19.7 points, 0.6 blocks, 2.3 assists a game. He shoots the 3 33%, so not the best, but okay. And he's cheaper than the other guy who's got averages less over his career. Mind you, the first guy is 2 years older than the guy that I'm telling you to buy. So he's had 2 years. He's 2 years older. I think he's actually been in the league for longer too. He's been in the league for 6 seasons. This guy's been in the league for 6 seasons as well. Okay, but he came into the league young. So the guy I'm about to say, next year, and this is where the hobby's at the moment, don't forget, ladies and gentlemen. So I'm giving you a current player that I think is undervalued, that once he gets playing next year in that team, eyes are on him, winning culture, winning, they're going to be winning for sure. His car price is going to go up because they just can't sit where they are at the moment. They just can't. It's just wrong. So the guy I'm saying is none other than Andrew Wiggins. He's going to be playing for the Golden State Warriors next season as the 3. You got Clay, you got Steph, who are definitely the number 1 and 2 there and will get the majority of the shots. But also what you need to remember is with Clay and with Steph, because they're such great shooters and they run all that motion offense, they always draw extra players and guys are always trying to help off the other guys to help toward Clay and Steph. So that's going to allow Andrew Wiggins a lot more freedom. Andrew Wiggins has never been on a team where he's the third guy. He's always been either the first or second guy, right? Andrew Wiggins doesn't look like he's got that alpha dog sort of mentality. Golden State, perfect fit for him. They all like to get along. They all like to share the ball. They all like to just have a winning culture. This is all going to fit in with why I believe Andrew Wiggins' prices are undervalued. Winning will bring eyes onto him. Golden State will be in the top 4 seeds next season. That's just straight out. People are forgetting how good that team is. They've still got the main three. They've got a few pieces that can move around. They can potentially make some trades. They've got an early draft pick. They're going to be good next season. With that being said, that is why Andrew Wiggins' prices are too low. I'll just give you a rundown. At the current point, you can get a raw Andrew Wiggins for any prison base for 15 to 25 USD. At the moment, TJ Warren's going for 25 to 30. TJ Warren. That's the guy that I was talking about that has worse stats, that is 2 years older than Andrew Wiggins. Andrew Wiggins is only 24. TJ Warren's 26. PSA 10, last sold, 150 for Andrew Wiggins. PSA 10, TJ Warren, last sold, 225. I couldn't find a PSA 9 price for TJ Warren. And then the BGS 9.5. This is where I actually think is the best value for money, ladies and gents. You can get BGS 9.5s, Andrew Wiggins, for somewhere between 75 to 90 USD. Essentially, I'm expecting this card to once he comes back and plays, to pretty much triple. Like we've seen how the market goes, all it takes is one decent game and voila. Oh, Andrew Wiggins, he's on the Warriors. Oh, yeah, the Warriors are good. That's literally what's going to happen. That's where all the sheep come in. And you sell to the sheep and feed the sheep. Like I say, buy your Wiggins cards now because he's not playing. No one knows about him. Everyone's worried about this bubble and the playoffs. No one's even thinking about it. And I'll tell you this. If you bought Andrew Wiggins cards just 3 weeks ago, they've already doubled since then. They've already doubled to now. So think about once he starts playing. And this is how the market is, and we've just spoken about it for a whole nearly 30 minutes, how the hobby is at the moment. This is why I'm giving you this guy. Think about this. He's not the only guy that's in this position. He's not the only guy that's in this position. And there's another guy. And I'm going to start looking into him this week. And if he's there, maybe I'll give you another one next week as another Smokey. But that's where I'm leaving it, Dolma. He's 2 years younger than TJ Warren, but yet his prices are more expensive. He's been more consistent over his whole career than TJ Warren in terms of points and efficiency, except for the three-point shot. But just Golden State, winning culture, Steph and Clay playing with better players makes you better. I mean, just look at J.R. Smith. Somehow LeBron made him look good in those Cleveland teams. He was able to drain threes. So it just shows you. When you play with good players, you up your level. And I think that will happen to Andrew Wiggins. And I can easily see by a prison-based raw 20, I can see that being 60 easily once he comes back and plays.
Easy.
So if TJ Warren, with a few good bubble games, can get up to 50, 55, 75, I even seen during that hype when he went off in those early games in the bubble, think about what happens with Wiggins as soon as he has a 30-point game. Or he potentially maybe hits a game winner.
That's true.
At this price point, it's a must-buy.
He's going to get shots.
He's going to get shots. He's going to get open shots. He's going to have chances. And Steve Kerr came out and said, Andrew Wiggins is an important part to our plan moving forward. Said that statement.
You got to remember, he's not taking the best or the second best defender either.
Yes.
And he's an offensive player. So he was always taking the best and the second best player in Minnesota. I know they got buckets, but he still took the second best. On the perimeter, that is.
Yeah, on the perimeter.
Yeah, on the perimeter, that's what I'm saying. He's a wing player now that's got no one defending him. Well, he's got someone defending him, but not as good as guys that are defending Clay and Steph. I can tell you that much.
Yeah, the open shots he's going to get with Clay, playing with Clay and Steph, is going to be unbelievable. Like, you just don't understand. They made Maurice Spates look good in that team. Maurice Spates. They made him look good. So think about Wiggins. Let me just say that. They made him look good, Maurice Spates. Anyone remember him? Go look up Maurice Spates. They made him look good in that team. The guy sucks. All right, he made it to the NBA. I'm not going to say, look, that's a bit harsh on Maurice Spates. He made it to the NBA. Anyone that makes it to the NBA deserves to be there. You put in the hard work. But in the scheme of things, he sucks.
That's Sauceys Smokey. Poor Maurice Spates.
Sorry, Spatesy. If you're hearing this and you want to get on the pod, by all means, I'm happy to have you on.
There you go.
Ladies and gentlemen, that brings us to the end of another absolute thumping episode of Double Coverage, where we've brought you all the news from around the globe in a range of sports at high intensity. And, well, we've really pushed over our 2-hour time. Come on, we got to work on these. We got to work on these.
We've got a short list of things to get through next week anyway. No F1s, soccer's minimal. No, we'll be all right. We'll just talk about the NBA for about 4 hours next week.
Well, that's how we started off the show.
I can't wait. Bring on more playoffs. Come on, Oklahoma.
It's spicing up.
Come on, Oklahoma.
Houston boys, they'll keep me bracket alive.
Get that shit up here.
Hey, if anyone at this rate's going to bust it, it's going to be the Lakers shooting 16% from three.
If anyone's going to bust it, it's bloody Milwaukee with Chris Middleton.
They'll come out. They'll come out. I'll expect Giannis to go for 45 next game.
Yeah, probably. Let's be honest. All right. Take it easy. It's been Doma with your boy, Saucey. Take care and peace out.
Peace.
Thank you for tuning in. Please subscribe on YouTube and your favorite podcasting app. Also, if you could please leave us a review on Apple Podcasts, that would be awesome. Don't forget to follow us on socials at DBLcoverage_ on both Instagram and Twitter to join in with your opinions.